PLD Projects presents Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast featuring PLD and Matty Gunner. May the Force be with you, always. Holy cow, we're back.
Holy cow.
Holy cow. Holy Snokes. Sorry, I totally dropped the ball on that. I totally dropped the ball on that. Holy
Run
Snokes.
the intro again. Run the intro again. Come back. Do it again. Go on. Roll it for 2 seconds. Just come back and get it right.
All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. We're doing it live, but we'll do it anyway. Hold on. Holy Snokes. We're back.
What I love about that was you came in right where you usually say Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast.
I waited specifically for that.
That was very good. That was very good.
Oh, my Matty, it's been quite a while. How have you been, my friend?
It's been a while. I'm good. Life is peachy. How are you?
Busy as always. We had a good run of stuff for a while. I had some scheduling things come up, had some other things come up. Life is really kind of crazy at the time. Nothing big, like specifically big going on, but just a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, my work, my life, everything else. Just
life.
It's a hard life. But I'm so glad.
How do we go from Borat to Christopher Walken?
I don't know. I don't know. Because that's how we do things. We never know which direction you're going to go here on Holy Snokes. We're kind of like on our patron Saint Hondo Anaka. We just kind of like take it as it comes, and whatever happens, we react to it and we go with it no matter what our instinct says.
The only consistent thing about this show is the fact that you will be wearing a queen hat and you will be having that mustache, which I need to ask you. How much do you have, what do you have to shave daily, bi-daily, just to keep it just the mustache? Because that is your gimmick at this point. Is the queen hat and only the mustache.
It's my brand, actually. I've had people come up with like a shadowy thing, and like you can have a shadow of just the queen hat, and like they just like have a little darker shadow where the mustache is.
Just the silhouette.
It's the silhouette.
If you were a wrestler, that would be the vignette instead of showing the NWO logo.
Right.
It would just be the queen hat.
For the hat. Like the stash would be like out like 2 inches from my face so they could show a shadow of it, kind of thing.
It would be. You remember that time in WCW when Sting took off the Sting mask and underneath it was just another Sting mask? You would take off the queen hat and it would just be another queen hat underneath.
I have a second one. I actually do have an older one. I think I still have that one. I should do that some days. Have the other one, just kind of take it off. That'd be great. I love it. I'm giving away my bits on air, but who cares? How do I do it? I'm only allowed a mustache for my work. That's actually how it started. That's how I'm only allowed. We have this outdated dress code from like the 70s. It's like I am a 911 public safety dispatcher, so I work in law enforcement that way. So
I thought that was just for the cops.
No, it's for us too. It's for us. We can't have facial hair except for a mustache. And I think it's because, technically speaking, I run the front desk, so I do face the public. So it's that kind of thing. I don't. It is outdated, I think, but it is what it is. I have to do what I have to do. But like, it's funny to say that. Like, it's just that I don't even do the front desk much anymore. So like, I'm in the back room. Although you know what? With all the technology coming, I'm pretty sure video 911 is going to be a thing eventually. So that's when it'll make sense again at that point, I guess. But either way, I have to do that. So I have to shave down. I shave like once a week. In terms of like actually taking like shave butter and all like a real shave every night before I go back to work on Tuesday nights. And then the rest of the time, I do a quick kind of trim every day. Just
okay.
Like
is it because you get any like 9 o'clock shadow? You just
exactly. The weekend comes, I don't shave. Like that's the thing. I say like it's my Saturday night and Sunday nights. I just don't shave.
You go crazy.
I let it go, and then I have to shave it off again. So that's the hat. That's how it happens. I have to clip this every once in a while. Sometimes it gets a little too bushy out there and everything else, but
that's crazy that your facial hair is part of a dress code.
I know it's funny.
That's wild.
It's funny. It's like it's honestly like the New York Yankees. That's what it is. Like that's how it was for such a long time. It's just the stash. It's like the 70s cop stories. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Like you see, like the cops in the movies from like the 70s and 80s, and they've just got like the tash, like a handlebar mustache.
It is what it is. I don't know. I think we tried to get some point.
I think they've been ribbing you for I think it's a bit. I think they've been trolling you for this entire time.
The funny thing was for me, like before everybody knows me from everybody in this space that knows me from like the YouTube.
No, everybody knows you. Say it with the chest. Everybody knows you.
No, I'm saying, but everybody's known me just for the stash. Before I started working there, I used to have a full goatee. I used to do a full goatee. And I actually had a full beard at one point, like bushy, like down, like almost not ZZ Top level, but out there kind of beard. And I loved the goatee. That's what I did for a long time. I was a goatee guy. I had to shave it for work, and I could not go baby face. I did not like my face like without.
Did you go soul patch in the 90s?
I did at one point. I might have some pictures of that stuff. Actually, I might have to find those. I don't know if I have those. Not very long. It was mostly goatee and like full goatee, kind of like that.
Yeah, like the Backstreet Boys soul patch with the goatee. Incredible.
Did that. But then like in 2008 or 9, I think whenever I started work, that's when I had to shave. I could not go baby face. I just hate what I look like without anything on my face. I'm just not used to having bare face. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll do the mustache. And I was kind of like, honestly, a little like, I don't know if I was just a little hesitant about it. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do just the mustache, this like whole porn stash kind of thing. But I did it. And I went with it, and now that was my brand. I can go back to it if I wanted to.
The younger Ron Jeremy look suits you.
When I retire in like 13 years or whatever it's going to be, 13, 15 years, I might have to change my brand again. I might have to go back to the goatee at that point, potentially. We'll have to say. Or maybe even a full beard, because I just won't want to shave ever. I'll just be kind of like, F shaving. I'm retired. Go after yourself. And I'll just have the big mountain man goatee beard at some point out here.
So you plan to retire at age 930?
That's what it is. Exactly. That's 30. Oh God, fun times there. It's great to have you back. It's great to have. I miss this in a way. But people are like came on for Star Wars.
In a way, I love that. I missed that in a way.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks as far as things go. We did take a couple of weeks off, and we had a couple of conversations behind the scenes. We kind of mentioned it. We're going to change how we do things in Holy Snokes a little bit. Quite a lot, bit honestly, but I think it's actually for the best. We have been kind of feeling like we're spinning our wheels a little bit. We have our shows where we do our after shows, and I like how we do our after shows with our segments and our segments and everything else. That's a lot of fun. However, like when we don't have episodes, we kind of tend to spin our wheels because we are not. Well, we're a Star Wars podcast. We were basically a Star Wars podcast. It was a weekly podcast. We love shows like Force Center and like Star Wars Explained, and they are like a dedicated Star Wars podcast where they have multiple episodes a week and they have specific things and they want to do all. We try to squeeze everything into one bit. And it didn't really work for us. And I felt like we were just we weren't offering anything different than anybody else had. We were offering our perspective on it, which I think is worth something. But at the same time, it didn't feel like we were passionate about what we were doing, overly passionate. Because we were both passionate about Star Wars, but finding the right mixture of stuff was a little, I think, challenging at points. So we think we came up with a solution, and I think we finalized it about 5 minutes before I hit record. In a way, if that, you did. I've been thinking about it for a while. Part of the things also, like I mentioned, my busy life. I do have a full-time gig. I produce for Christian Harloff. I produce for the Real Rejects. I produce a little bit for Matt Serra, and I do a lot of own stuff. I have weekly podcast now with PJ, Two Middle-Aged Geeks on Film. I review, which is like a bi-weekly podcast I do with Lego. I do a Queen podcast weekly, recording stuff. We have our Class Action monthly podcast. Just doing a lot of stuff, and so Holy Snokes became.
The fact that you produce for Matt Serra still to me is like you are not an MMA guy.
No, never have.
You don't know how fucking gigantic his knockout over George St. Pierre was. Like that was earth shattering. That when that happened, that was like it was like every sports underdog story you've ever seen, where you're like this, like he was on like a losing streak, and like he went through the Ultimate Fighter, which was the reality show they did. That was his chance to get back into the UFC.
Right.
He's going up against Georges St. Pierre, the man many people, myself included, see as the greatest of all time.
Right.
He's the first man to ever go in there, and he's a shorter dude. He wasn't even known for his striking. He had no striking.
Right.
Matt, sorry if you're watching this. Before that George fight, your striking was terrible.
I didn't say anything, Matt. I had nothing to do with this.
Grappling, he might beat me. In fact, he would beat me. Grappling. Striking, he might kill me, but yeah. Anyway,
Matt, I know nothing about this. This is not proved by me. I did not. I know this was going to go on.
My words do not reflect the stance of PLD Projects Network.
Thank you.
You know, it was like every underdog story, every movie underdog story you've ever seen, where the guy literally has everything stacked against him, no shot.
Right.
He's the first person to knock out the GSP,
nice,
the guy at the time.
Very nice.
And you produce his show.
I mean, produce is a wrong word. It may be the wrong word. Just I want to out there. Like,
you produce his show.
I upload stuff for his audio.
You
side.
produce his show.
Christian Harlow actually more produces the show than I do. I'm kind of like assistant. I'm more an assistant producer for anything else.
You're an AP, but you're a producer. You produce his show.
I work with him. I did get the. It's funny. I had worked through Christian first because Christian and him are friends. They've done work together for a long time. And he actually.
You ever asked him his stance on the prequels?
No, I've not talked to him about much. I did get to talk to him the other day. I finally got his number. I usually work through Christian.
He's great.
But Christian gave me his phone number the other day. It's kind of like, if you ever late on doing it, just text him directly. I'm like, oh, sure. And I just started texting him directly. Good dude. He's a sweetheart of a guy, though. So he's a sweetheart of a guy.
I've met him a few times. He's, as you say, he's a sweetheart. He's hilarious.
He's kind of
I just hate his takes on the prequels.
He's got some rough takes. I'm not gonna lie. I don't agree with all his takes. But,
he's got some takes.
He does. He for sure has some takes. But anyway, but with all that going on, it is.
I will give you just one quick Matt Sarah caveat story, and it was the day that I found out that he was a geek. I was on a fight week trip with my best friend Andre Feely, who competes in the UFC, top 20 featherweight in the world. We were on a bus. And we were reading comic books because that's one thing that me and Andre bonded over, is both our love for comic books.
Right.
We're both reading comic books, and then we just hear like, "You guys like comic books?" Because it's like such a bizarre thing for fighters to love comic books. It was just this really loud New York accent. You guys love comic books? I'm gonna come and sit with you guys. It was Matt Sarah. Me and Andre just looked at each other like, Is this fucking happening right now? Is this really happening right now?
He is a sweetheart of a man. I mean, that's what his website, his YouTube channel really is. It's geeking out with Matt Sarah. He does a lot of geek stuff. He does his fight stuff as well. So if you like UFC stuff, he does. He just did a reaction to. I think he did the reaction to the George St. Pierre match. He did a bunch of reactions to all of his fights.
He's done that so many times.
You got to watch it with him, and it's fun to see it with him. And then he does but he also does like movie reaction. He just put up I think he reacted to Sinners today, so it's interesting to see his reaction to Sinners. Like a lot of cool stuff he does. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a mixing of worlds.
Loves the X-Men.
Yes,
loves the X-Men.
Loves the X-Men. That's absolutely for sure.
That was what we were reading. We were reading the Hickman.
Oh, okay.
Hickman one.
Nice, very nice.
And he was like, "You guys are reading X-Men?" And we were like telling him all about like House of X and stuff like that.
So anyway, regardless of what we're saying, with all stuff going on, Holy Snokes kind of almost sometimes beginning a little bit of a chore. Not because I don't love Star Wars, but because like it'd be like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I mean, I could click the news, but like, what were like tops? I was kind of getting burnt out about trying to figure out topics that we could discuss that haven't been discussed everywhere. That's not whatever. So it just became kind of rough. So we came up with an idea. This is our new idea. As far as things go, we always thought we were at our best being an after show because I think we have an interesting perspective. I think we have unique perspectives, and they're sometimes fun perspectives. I think our segments are fun, how we review things. So when there is a show or a movie or anything visual, pretty much animated show, visions, the one-off tales of the shows, the movies when they come back finally, we're going to do our normal after show for those. We're going to do our normal, we'll even go weekly again for those. When those are not going on, there's not a weekly show going on, we're not going to go weekly anymore. We're going to switch to a slightly more irregular schedule, but I think it's going to work out to pretty much be bi-weekly. I think like it's going to be, we'll see how it goes as we just develop things. I think every other week we're going to do a show, and it's going to be a different kind of show. because we also discovered a couple things about us. I think it's why we work well together sometimes. Maddie loves doing themes, loves doing like connections
I'm an
and artiste as a whole. He loves that stuff, and I love talking about it as well. But he's definitely more of that kind of guy for me. I love talking about breaking news and things like going on with the business side of things, what's going to happen, and everything else. And Maddie's not as big a fan of that, and that's what, that's okay. If you've watched us, you've seen like I'll be talking on newspaper like, "Hey, Maddie, what do you think about this?" And you'd be like, "Let's move on."
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I feel like in Major League. They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing there, but Monty. It feels like
that's a perfect example. That is a perfect example. And no, it's just like I feel like I'm not doing PLD a service. I'm not being a good co-host. And this is conversations I've had with people who are really good broadcasters, really good podcasters. I'm asking for advice, like how do I get into it? And like how can I like be more invested in it?
Right.
And the response has always been, if you're not being genuine about it, why are you talking about it?
Right.
And I'm like, that's a good that's yeah, I can't, and I feel like I'm holding PLD back from that. I have pitched PLD his own like news channel, like not a channel, but like a news show where he's like as an anchor and he reads off the news, and then we have like, what's the weather gonna be like on Tatooine today? Sunny and hot, same as every other fucking day.
Right. So we actually are going to kind of do something like that. What we're going to do, our bi-weekly show. So twice a month, it'll be easier for us to do. We'll do one show will be just myself, or if I just want to get a co-host, I don't know. This is all kind of up in the air, but definitely me without Maddie talking just the news, the breaking news of the month. Nothing like a lot of the month is news. A lot of times news is slow or slower, but there's still kind of fun stuff to talk about at least. So I'll just break down whatever news has been happening this month, and then we'll go from there. The other week will be Maddie program shows. Now, it's not like we're splitting up that. I'm going to be on those shows with Maddie 90% of the time, at least. I mean, there might be time where Maddie decides to do one on his own and record something on his own, which is one that we actually pitched that we might have to talk about soon. Well, maybe we'll save that for the end. Maddie's going to program some shows, and it could be more like thematic related. I'm going to pitch a few shows too. I'm not like completely checking out or anything like that. In fact, I was going to say, wait till then. We can save it. We can talk about it now as kind of examples. Some ideas that we had. One thing we want to talk about is like we love talking about different movies, how they relate to Star Wars, how they have connections to Star Wars in different ways. And we are just finishing up with Andor season 4 today, I do hope, as it were. So we are going to have a discussion on Michael Clayton. We're going to rewatch Michael Clayton, Tony Gilroy's probably the thing he's best known for outside of Andor and Bourne, his relationship to the Bourne franchise, obviously, but a Tony Gilroy directed movie starring George Clooney, phenomenal piece of work. And Maddie wants to discuss that in connection with Andor, Rule 1, things of that nature. So we're going to discuss that as a episode on its own. And we'll do that without news. It will be uninterrupted. We'll just kind of come forth into the topic with the caveat that if there's like breaking news, if like there's something that came out that doesn't want to wait for like a month, like some big story, we'll comment on it and talk about it, obviously.
And I will say, if there's a piece of news that I'm like, PLD, I've got something I got to say. I'll jump on the news with PLD. If it's like something that I'm like, the internet dweebs are acting up again, I got something I got to say. I got to come and check. I got to come in and check these nerds.
Right, absolutely.
I will have something. But yeah, we've got Michael Clayton, which, by the way, did you see Tony Gilroy's interview with, I can't remember the guy's name. I was actually talking to a good friend, Auden Diaz, of Anytime with Ken and Auden and Arcto Radio about this. If I get the gentleman's name. With the New York Times, with, I'm going to call him Ross Douche Hat because he is a douche.
Oh, okay.
He basically said to Tony Gilroy, why did you stop making films like Michael Clayton? And Tony's response was, because I made Michael Clayton.
Right. I don't want to remake what I've already done.
And this guy was like, so you agree you've made a left-wing show in Andor? And Tony was like, no, because I'm also going from the perspective of characters like Cyril and Dedra, who are in the Empire. I'm also putting just as much attention into their stories as well. And this guy was just like trying to pin
him down.
Tony as like this like left-wing socialist,
Right,
you know?
of course.
And bro, Tony just was not letting him have it, and it was awesome. It was just that question of the guy going like, "So why didn't you make more films like Michael Clayton?"
What a ridiculous,
Like,
what a ridiculous comment.
And Tony's reply was just like, "Because I made Michael Clayton, and I got offered the chance to work on the Bourne movies.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't work out the way that we wanted because we wanted to do like a whole MCU style thing, but that didn't work out. Also, I got to write for Al Pacino.
Yeah,
in Devil's Advocate. Like,
he's done so many. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So Michael Clayton, a movie that I love, a movie that PLD I think loves.
I highly enjoy it. Yes,
he highly enjoys it. I love it. PLD highly enjoys it.
We also have a couple episodes we are also planned. Maddie's going to do a solo episode on Kurosawa.
On Kurosawa and how Kurosawa influenced George Lucas and Star Wars. We're going to look at Hidden Fortress, Yojimbo, a little bit. Obviously, Rashomon is a bit. Guess what, guys? We're going to be talking about the Acolyte. So
it is a year on from the Acolyte, so it's good timing, I guess, at this point. Yeah, but I'm going to let Maddie do that one solo because I don't, unfortunately, if I was going to do that properly, I'd really want to rewatch a bunch of Kurosawa stuff because it's been a while since I've watched it. I don't know it like the back of my hand. Like Maddie knows that. Maddie knows this in and out. Like
the back of my hand.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty, if I recall correctly, I actually beat our good friend Ben Bateman in one of those study sessions on the category of Kurosawa.
I believe you did. Yes, I believe you absolutely did.
The one category. And then I said, let's do a whole Kurosawa match. And he still would be ducking me.
Of course he is. At this point, he's ducking everybody. He's done. He's done.
And Dan Mo, but neither of them wanted the smoke when it came to Kurosawa for me. Now I should say, any other category, I'd be dead. I'd be done. There'd be even martial arts movies. If a Steven Seagal movie came up, I would not know.
On principle, you wouldn't know. For sure. You would have erased it from your mind. But yeah, it's not that I don't love it. I just don't think I could offer as much that Maddie could. Like, I don't want to I still give Maddie a space. But Maddie has some other ideas he might throw out there too. Maybe get some guests on. We haven't had it for a while. We haven't tried any guests for a while. It's always been kind of like that imposter syndrome of. We had Ken Knapsack on. We did have Adam Witt on once for Andor season 1. Remember?
We weren't Holy Snokes then, though. We were the name that you sold. No, we were the name that you sold.
Were we? Are we? I think we were still Holy Snokes then. We were just Holy Snokes for the Andor season 1. I am pretty sure we are. If you look back.
Okay, I will believe you.
I believe we are. But anyway, we did have Paul Preston and Adam Witt on the celebration solo episode.
Yeah, as well. The Harrison Ford celebration.
The funny thing that was like actually they came to us about it because like the funny thing about it is like I feel like this big imposter syndrome. Like I do have connections with a lot of these people. I could probably ask a lot of people on, but I'm always like, they want to be on a Star Wars show with me. What? I had Ken Knapsack on because I talked to him all the time about it. Like I never asked Joseph Scrimshaw because I haven't had much of a relationship with him. Like I go down. No, but the thing is, like I was like, oh, we could do that, but I feel bad. Like I could probably I bet you these people would absolutely come hang out with us and talk about things. But I'm always like, they don't want to do that. It's like begrudging myself or belittling myself, but it is what it is. Maddie has no qualms about just doing that, so they'll go out and do that. But yeah, it's like that. And also, since we're talking about all now, one more thing, we do have an episode planned. We are going to do a High Republic wrap-up episode. I know Trials of the Jedi came out last week. I have actually caught up in if you guys have heard me before, I do a canon. I've been doing a new canon read-through and watch-through. I read High Republic Phase 1. I'd gone back to start Phase 2, and I had read like the myths and fables stuff that took place like 30,000 years from now. But during that, I was like, I'm going to just do a whole canon read through and watch through everything that's released. And then when something comes up, I'll pop it back in if I've already passed the timeline. Well, it took me a little bit to do. I went through Phase 2. I went back and reread Phase 1 as part of the initiative. I was catching up on Phase 3. I have caught up on Phase 3 to Trials of the Jedi. I'm now halfway through that book. I can't wait to do that. But we also have a couple of comics and books that are coming out still. There's finally the High Republic, July 30th. The Marvel Comics has the High Republic one-shot called Finale. So that'll be the absolute wrap-up of the initiative. After that, Matt and I will get together and do a High Republic wrap-up episode. We're not sure exactly how yet, but we're going to talk about our favorite stories, our favorite characters, things of that nature, and go from there.
What I'm about to tell you is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
So I've recently transitioned over because I'm pretty fucking busy at the minute. I'm trying to be in 2 different bands. And live my normal life. I've mostly been doing audiobooks. So the reason I haven't got to trials yet is because I am currently going through a very long audiobook. And I'm about to show you which one it is. And it's going to blow your fucking mind.
Okay. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A little bit of Fellowship of the Ring, my friend.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Wow.
Fellowship of the Ring. I've also just finished the Witcher book series.
Cool.
So I'm in that. I've never been a big fantasy guy, which is weird because I love science fiction, like fantasy. But like fantasy has always been like a crutch to me. I've never been able to like fully.
It's funny because a lot of people do love sci-fi, love fantasy, but there are some, like my son hates fantasy. He watched Lord of the Rings with me and liked it enough. Oh, these are really good, but they're not his thing. He doesn't like that. He loves hard sci-fi, does not love fantasy. But it's interesting to hear that. So you're kind of like that in a way too.
Yeah, like you know how much I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
I hate Legend.
Of course you do. I do. Yeah, I do.
I hate that
That's
movie.
Fair. That's fair.
So I'm like, I'm listening to the books now because I watched the movies again.
Right.
I watched the extended editions again. I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Oh! I want to class action.
I was gonna wait until class action to say this, but because I brought up the topic now, I figured I'm just gonna say it now. Sorry, Jarvie doesn't get to hear this. I was wrong about the extended editions. They are pretty fucking cool.
I will not give you shit, and I will not make you say anymore.
You're just like
happy for you.
Just like, welcome.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome.
Come here, my friend.
My son, you have come home to me.
The prodigy's son hath returned. I'm so glad for you. I'm so happy for you. Who's doing the audiobook for it? Is it anybody like known?
Bear with me. I didn't actually have a look at the name. It was who's doing the audiobook? Doesn't actually say.
Oh, maybe it's not.
Fuck. Zandy Circus. Duh.
And that's what I thought of Zandy Circus. I thought he did one recently. I was that's one you were listening to. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right. It's funny thing is like I've never been a huge audiobook guy because I have a hard time. Like my mind just goes elsewhere. Same reason why I have a problem with Big Finish and Dr. PJ's been trying to do Big Finish for a long time. I did it for V because it's like one small thing and I was able to concentrate. But I don't really do audiobooks very often. Although I will say something that somebody told me I should try, and I kind of semi-tried it this morning for the first time. I actually downloaded the audiobook of Trials of the Jedi, and like you can do it in the Kindle app on my iPad. I pressed play, like it was just started wherever I was, and it was like highlighting it. So I was like reading and listening to it at the same time. That was kind of cool. So I might do that again at times. But unfortunately, a lot of my reading time is when I'm at work and I can't do audiobook while I'm working at this point. So it's
so here's my question for you.
Yeah.
If you could pick a Star Wars actor to narrate a Star Wars audiobook about the character they play,
Jim Cummings.
Who you pick?
Jim Cummings. Honda. Come on. Having a new Honda's voice. Magic.
That is
he did do that once. Did he did that. It was like it was a young. I actually got a young kid.
Oh yeah.
Like Pirates Price or something like that. It's Han Solo and it's something like that. And it was him doing Hondo's voice. Like I gotta hear that. Just him doing Hondo's voice.
That's the one you go with over all of them.
Maybe. That's the one thing that came to mind. If I had to sit and think about it, like. Because Hondo's not a main character, so it's usually not the kind of thing you get to do. Although a Hondo book would be really cool. I would like to get a Hondo.
My pick's not a main character either.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your pick?
Peter Cushing reading the talking book.
Oh, that would be a sweet. That is a great call. That is a great call. That is a great call.
Him reading the talking book?
Yeah. Maybe. What about, and I think about it, it's been a while. I know it's a Legends book now. Ian McDermott reading the Plagueis novel. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of fun too.
Dude. Christopher Lee reading Dooku Jedi Lost.
Oh, get the hell out of there. I love that. Love that. How about Ewan McGregor reading Kenobi?
Yeah.
I'm talking Legends book again.
Better idea yet. Hugh McGregor, season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's that story.
That'd be great too. That'd be great too. I'm all for that.
He wants to do it, so
I know. I just wish, I really wish that they would do that and give it a shot again and give him a season 2, but just put the money into it this time. Like that's part of the problem. It needed a little bit more, because if you hear about all these stories, Andor got like $650 million and Acolyte got what they're 200, whatever it was. Either way, and Obi-Wan got like less than 100 million or something. I reported it was weird. Just like that's a show that deserves a push and gives it a little more money into it. I think that would be helpful. But
I think they will, because he's on the West End at the minute.
Right.
He's doing that show, or done that show with his daughter.
Yeah.
But also he's going to be at Edinburgh Comic Con with, get this, what, you know how they do the photo ops, but they do it with the 2 actors.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is him and Ray Park.
Oh wow, interesting.
So if he's like getting back into the promotion, like the promotion circuit of doing like conventions and stuff again,
could see something happen.
Something's got to be on
the horizon potentially.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. So that, I think that wraps up our idea of what we're doing. So yeah, but every episode we'll have the after show. We're going to do Maddie's special stuff. I'll do the new stuff, and it should be bi-weekly. I assume it's going to be every other Thursday. I mean, it might be a day we decide to do it on a Friday or whatever, but mostly this is our slot still. I only have a certain amount of times a week I can record, so that slot will be there. Although, you know what, Maddie, if he does it on his own, hey, I'll just throw it up there on a Thursday either, no matter when he records it. So, all right. So for the last time, like officially, we are doing episode today. We did promise to do A New Hope and/or season 4.
Who requested this again?
I can't remember who it was who's doing this at this point. I think it was maybe Douglas Dubois.
I think it was Douglas Dubois.
It might have been Douglas Dubois at that point.
Our biggest supporter, Douglas Dubois. He's gonna be heartbroken. Actually, he's not, because he's gonna be like, oh my god, I'm getting twice.
Right. Right.
I'm getting more Holy Snokes.
Right, get a different kind of Holy Snokes now in a way. Better thing in a while. I think it might have been Dr. Sputnik was another one who's our fan of ours who also might have. I'm not sure who it was, but either way, we decided.
Who is Dr. Sputnik?
He actually came to me, our channel, through review. He's a big V fan from the 80s.
Okay.
So he watched review with me and Lego for a long time, and he kind of started watching my Doctor Who stuff and Star Wars and Holy Snoke stuff as well. So we had a couple of people come from review, because still V and Star Wars in the 80s were big.
Because I see him on Blue Sky, and I'm like, this guy seems like someone I would want to be friends with.
Yeah, he is a good dude. He's a really good dude. I shout out to him. He knows his stuff very well. He's very positive.
And he has a cool name, Dr. Sputnik.
Yeah, I love that. I love it so much. So yeah, it might have been him as well. I don't remember who it was that said it, but we wanted to talk about
whoever it was.
We wanted to do A New Hope, and so we said, we'll do A New Hope and finish out the Andor run of that part. Of course, now we're doing Michael Clayton. So we're extending the Andor run a little bit, but that's okay, as it is. But we're going to do that episode, and we are going to do, since we didn't decide everything until 5 minutes in, we are going to do our news bit. We are half an hour into the show. We haven't even touched the news or our topics, so this might be a long episode. We'll see how it goes.
It's been 2 weeks. People can wait.
Absolutely. We're going to get into the news. I do have a lot of news to talk about since we have been away. I'm going to cut through some of the crap, and we'll just do some of the main bigger stuff. Last time with Matty Gutter as a co-host, as far as the news goes, generally
as a news correspondent.
Let's get right into it. Some of this might be older to some people, but we haven't commented on it, so I'm interested to see what people have to say. First news bit: Ryan Reynolds pitching an R-rated Star Wars movie. Ryan Reynolds quotes, "I pitched to Disney, why don't we do an R-rated Star Wars property? It doesn't have to be an overt A+ characters. There's a wide range of characters you could use. And I don't mean R-rated to be vulgar, R-rated as a Trojan horse for emotion. I always wonder why studios don't want to just gamble on something like that. I'm not saying I want to be in it. That would be a bad fit. I want to produce and write or be a part behind the scenes. Those kinds of IP subsist really well on scarcity and surprise. We don't get scarcity really with Star Wars because of Disney Plus, but you can certainly still surprise people." What do you have to say about this? I can see you over there.
I want to preface this by saying I have loved Ryan Reynolds since I am a Van Wilder defender.
I love Van Wilder.
I am a staunch waiting defender.
Fair.
This man is full of shit. I don't even want to be in it. Shut the fuck up.
You know what? That's self-awareness. That's self-knowledge. If it's true, maybe, because honestly speaking, it's a smart play. because I think we both agree that Ryan Reynolds is not.
It's a
beloved
smart play
any
because
Star
him
Wars movie.
saying I don't even want to be in it, with Sean Levy now directing a movie that's probably going to do bazinga amount of dollars, he's gonna be like, yeah, let's bring Sean back. You know who works really well with Sean? Ryan Reynolds. Hey, Ryan, we know you said you don't want to be in the movie, but what would you say to this whole big bag of money?
I mean, that is always a possibility. That's always a possibility. I'm going to try to take him at his word. Because he does have a
PLD, you
word.
watched this franchise ever since you were a little kid. We're going to give you the chance to
I know.
make a Star Wars movie. Hey, you might want to have just a little cameo. What do you think?
Well,
Are you going to say no?
Here's the thing about a cameo. I actually I would not be completely adverse if he was like a voice of droid.
That I would like.
So something like that. He voiced the droid, and he was in a little small bit, and that's all he does. I'm happy with that. I just don't want to see his face doing his. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is one of those guys. I love Ryan Reynolds too, but he plays Ryan Reynolds every time. He's the most part he's playing Ryan Reynolds, a different person.
It's like a good example would be. So I haven't watched season 4 yet, but I've just gone back and rewatched season 3 of The Bear.
Okay.
John Cena is in that episode to play John Cena.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
He like Ryan Reynolds, you see him and you're like, okay, I know what's coming. He's not like a Robin Williams where he can do like comedy and then 10 seconds later have you crying in the most dramatic scene that you could possibly see in Good Will Hunting.
Right.
I've never gotten that from him outside of the scene in Van Wilder where he's like talking to his dad. And like he's saying about like how he felt like his dad, he didn't want to be anything like his dad. I just can't see it. An R-rated Ryan Reynolds, an R-rated means
without being vulgar. Yeah, without being vulgar. That's an interesting tactic. I guess what I'm saying, is I'm interested in what he's saying, and I'm just trying to take him as his word. And him pitching an R-rated, non-vulgar R-rated Star Wars movie that he wanted to be involved with in a way, that does intrigue me a little bit. I'm kind of intrigued enough to say, okay, if that stays like that, like you're not the star, it's not a F-bomb sexual, and it's just a darker, like whatever horror story, then I am interested to see it. I've always been interested in R-rated Star Wars. I understand like some people aren't, and I completely understand that. I think that some people are like Star Wars is for families, it's for kids, and I get that.
We've had strip clubs in Star Wars twice.
We have.
Maybe
absolutely.
A brothel 3 times.
I think now that like we are expanding outwards so much, it's an idea we can do it some adult R-rated Star Wars. But it depends on what you mean by that. I think there's a way you can do it without being like there's R-rated. There's like you're not going to have Deadpool in Star Wars. That's not like what I want at all. Something more like Andor could be R-rated. Depends on how you do it, kind of things. It all depends on how it's done, and that's what I'm waiting for to see. I think he did pitch it. Obviously says he pitched it. He's not saying they said no. To be completely honest, that's the fun thing. He's not like he said I pitched it and they said no. They'd be stupid to say no right off the bat. They'd be stupid not to explore it at the very least.
I tell you what they probably have done. They've probably gone, yeah, let's start developing it. And he's going to come with his ideas, and they're going to be like, you can't do that. Can't do that. You can't do that.
And like you said, with Sean Levy involved, that might be greasing the wheels a little bit for him too. Maybe at some point, okay, I'll show up on Starfighter set, and Sean and I will talk about things, and maybe we can find some common ground to do something. I can see that happening completely. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing a Ryan Reynolds voice robot in Starfighter at some point, like a cameo kind of thing. That wouldn't be shocking.
Have the two Ryans.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan. But anyway,
you don't really need him to though for that, because people, and I keep seeing people saying this, Ryan Gosling is hilarious.
He is hilarious. Have you seen The Nice Guys?
The Nice Guys, Fall Guy?
Yes, absolutely. He's hilarious.
I watched even some scenes in La La Land.
Yeah. Barbie.
Yeah,
he's great. Yeah, I love him, and I think Gosling's one of my favorite actors, to be honest. So he's just a lot of fun. So.
People just like, for some reason, he can't shake this stigma of like pretty boy. Right. It's The Notebook. The Notebook is what did it. Like, people watch The Notebook and you're like, you're that pretty boy actor from the romance. He's like, you're the new
What do you want?
What do you want? It's like you're the new like George Clooney. Like people think Clooney can only do one thing,
Right.
or Harrison Ford. Like people think Harrison Ford can only do one thing.
Until shrinking.
Yeah, until oh my god, that show is so fucking good.
Love that show, and
we have to do that. We have to do it. We have to do it.
It's a Star Wars adjacent kind of thing in a way. Yeah.
Harrison. What's the connecting feed? Is Harrison Ford. We become the Ford Fiesta for 1 week.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. Like I'll throw in there like review because we finished on my show I do with Lego, which is doing the V series. We did the original mini series, the weekly series 85, and we just finished the 2009 remake, which was hard to get through. Those are hard watches by the way. We just did not like it. We have other stuff we're gonna do. We're gonna cover the books and comics and stuff, and the Big Finish audio stuff that they did. We're gonna do all that, but we actually are doing something. So we decided at one point I'm doing our first show review adjacent, which is exactly the same type of thing as Star Wars we're doing. We're doing stuff that's like either inspired by V or inspired V or is somewhat related to V, like through actors. Like first one we're doing for Independence Day is we're covering Independence Day as a
oh my god, hell yeah.
And we're calling it review adjacent. And we're going to do like we do Watchers and Watchers 2 because funny enough, Watchers stars Michael Ironside, who played Ham Tyler in V. Watchers 2, completely unrelated, stars Mark Singer, who played Mike Donovan in V.
I'll be honest. I didn't even know there was a Watchers 2.
I'm not surprised. Mark Singer is not the bank office. Like Michael Ironside could get something made, like, and you didn't hear about it and be a cult thing. Mark Singer stuff, unless it was V or Beastmaster, you didn't really hear much about it, honestly. So, but we will cover Beastmaster at some point, probably too, because of Mark Singer. But either way, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of thing we're doing adjacent stuff there. So I kind of like the idea of just building out more in that fashion. So
which means we can going back to the Ryan Reynolds role. We can do, if he is in this movie, we can do an episode on Van Wilder.
We technically could. I will have to see how far that adjacent.
What do you think? What do you think of it? What do you think of this? You're for this?
Oh, for the R-rated thing, I'm all for exploring it. I don't want to dismiss it, and I would like to see what happens with it. I'm wary of it. I'm wary of like if it going too far, it would have to be done like absolutely right for me to be completely on board with. But I hear this and kind of like, you never say no to an exploration, to a pitch. If somebody
say no to a man that bought you $1 billion,
100%. That's the business side of things as well. Let's get in the Ryan Reynolds business. Now it's got to fit though. It's got to fit, and that's that thing that Dave Filoni has to figure out. I think Dave Filoni. If Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck are going to be taking over Lucasfilm as pitched, that's the idea that the pitch, and still Kathleen Kennedy's going to be there EPing. But if they are the duo that's taking over, the one drawback that Dave Filoni has is I think he can be a little bit too precious about things sometimes. I think he needs to let go a little bit. But I also think that he is the guy, if he can let go a little bit, he'll be a good guy to go, okay, we can do this, that, but let's at least fit it in the general realm of actual Star Wars.
If we are to get who is it that was pegged to do the horror? Was it James Wan?
To do what? I'm sorry. The horror movie.
Yeah.
We don't know. We haven't gotten an official word.
There was someone. It was
no director. Not
James Wan. Well, no, someone said they wanted to do it.
Mike Flanagan wants to do
Mike Flanagan. That's it. Mike Flanagan.
Okay.
If we're gonna get that, if we have any hope of getting that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're transitioning very nicely into the next topic here. I don't even know what the next topic is, but I'm sure it's going to be something to do with the transition that multiple people have been talking about for years because people are dying for Kathy Kennedy to step aside for some unbeknownst reason. But if we have any hope of getting that, if I have any hope of getting my Jawa movie, Filoni has to let go
a little bit.
Let go of what you're. Let go of all you fear to lose.
I think the best thing that can happen, and I think the best thing that can happen from Andor, is that you learn that you can give an auteur like free reign for the most part. At least Tony Gilroy said he had free reign. He didn't have to. He changed the F-bomb. That was it. Let them do what they want to do with Star Wars and just make sure like the story and lore can match up and everything else. I think that's what Dave kind of like has a hard time doing. I from what I've heard, rumors there behind the scenes, not that there's the rumors got all blown out of place that like that Dave hated Tony and Tony hated. That's not the truth. I do believe the idea that Andor wasn't a Dave fan. Dave probably wasn't a fan of like Andor in terms of because of how different it was.
I'm
Dave
sure
has
they
this
clash
idea.
creatively, but personally, I highly doubt
Oh,
it.
there's no personal, and I think Dave actually probably supported the idea of a lot of things. I just think that Andor was not kind of his style of Star Wars. I just think he's got to understand that there's more than his style of Star Wars. That's all.
Yeah.
He's got to. You can have his style of Star Wars and be absolutely successful and have a lot of fun. I want Ahsoka season 2. I want his Mandoverse movie. I want all that stuff going on. I think it's. I'm looking forward to all that stuff. We can have that and have Andor.
And we've talked about this a lot. Tony Gilroy is one of a very select club of whatever they say, let him do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Now,
that's the kind of thing I'll give to Mike Flanagan too. Give Mike Flanagan something. Go. You know what?
Mike Flanagan is a thou, especially when it comes to like doing horror.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, imagine if, and I'm sorry to, I know that your dream is dead. This could, as of yesterday, I believe, like this probably isn't going to happen now. But Denis Villeneuve, if Denis came in and said, "I want to do Star Wars," are you going to tell the man that's done the best representation of Dune and is now probably going to make the first James Bond film that I actually enjoy?
I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that. I would love to see. I mean, he does not want to do Star Wars. He already said that though, so that's why I'm kind of like dead. My dream's been dead for a while. He only really likes Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. He's one of those kind of people. And that's fine. That's your miles may vary on things. But yeah, if he would have come in, I would. Here you go. Here's your budget. Go off, make Star Wars, have fun. All you have to worry about, Dave, and is making sure the bits, canon pieces fit. And quite frankly, I'm so tired. We had a discussion before about like the canon rewrites and retcons. It's a fluid story. If somebody auteurs wants to rewrite things or revamp things, let them revamp things a little bit. Like, you can always make things work out. You can always switch things up a little bit and make things change just enough. Make it a fluid document. It's okay.
You know what gets me? Why do the Ahsoka episode of Tales of the Jedi notwithstanding, that is on deck. Why does Pablo never get shit for this?
That's a good question.
How does Pablo Hidalgo seemingly escape all the backlash? He's supposed to be the keeper of the canon.
Right. I think because he has come out and basically said at one point, he's like, I tell them what it is, and I have no power to, if they want to say, do what they want to do, they do what they want to do anyway. So it's kind of like, here it is. This is what, I'm quite sure Pablo probably, or whoever went to Tony and said, this is the K2SO comic, the casting K2SO comic. And Tony went.
Tony has confirmed
that.
Yeah,
right.
But Tony has confirmed that is 100% what he did, because I can't remember what interview it was. It was like, he specifically said that he was upset that someone wrote the story for Kathleen and Katie. And I was like, that's fair.
So it is. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I would give the auditors enough. Like, if they're going to come in and I mean, there's obviously a line. If they all of a sudden you want somebody to come in and they're going to just change it so that Luke Skywalker was always Darth Vader or something like ridiculous like that, then you say,
for it.
You go, you would be. So like, they change something like that drastically, like big, like that's kind of like all right, you gotta rein them in a little bit idea wise, but otherwise give them their free reign to do most of what they want to do with the characters. But
and now Carrie back of it all, like, it's time, like, let her. She's been the apprentice,
right?
It's time for the apprentice to become the master.
I will say, if we're getting into this, I'm a little worried about Dave and Carrie as a head, and only for there's a couple of reasons why. It's nothing against them at all. I think they have earned their keep. I think they know what they're doing as far as Star Wars guys. They don't have the name that Kathleen Kennedy has, and she can put her name to the mud. That's fine. I got a lot of people put her name to the mud. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the business side of things, Kathleen Kennedy can step up to Bob Iger and have a say in the game and be like, I'm Kathleen fucking Kennedy. I've done all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And Bob Iger might listen to her. Carrie Beck? No. This is be like, you do what I say.
Hey, Kathy, Bob's not listening to my ideas. Bob's being a pain in my ass. Can you pick up the phone and
Bob goes, see, you don't work here anymore. Like, I don't know. What I'm saying after Bob leaves, though, you got Disney shareholders and stuff. I'm just saying they don't have quite the the oomph to be able to. I worry about that a little bit. I'm not saying he couldn't have. Maybe you're right. Maybe Kathleen Kennel will be there to lean on. Maybe that's why she's sticking around. But I do worry a little bit that there's a case where they could start being walked over a little bit.
But it's like any job, right? You go to a job interview, and the reason you don't get the job is because you don't have the experience. Well, how the fuck am I going to get the experience if you don't give me the experience?
100%. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying I'm against them doing.
No,
it.
I'm not saying you're not.
I'm a little wary about the situation and how
it's a valid concern. You know, you've taken on this big franchise, but at the same time, it's like maybe it needs a fresh coat of paint.
I mean, James Gunn and Safran and DC have taken it, but James Gunn has a name in the business. Safran has a name in the business, has done stuff. Carrie Beck, most people out there, Carrie Beck, are like, who? Who's that? Dave Filoni? Honestly, not a whole lot better. Like, people in Star Wars absolutely know who he is, and he's got enough press outside of like the George Lucas protege and everything else. But even so, people are still, I think a lot of the most like common people in the people are kind of like, Dave Filoni? Okay. Who's that? Is that oh wait, that's the hack guy? I think I know who you're talking about.
That's the hack guy. You know damn well that's the hack guy.
Right. But I'm saying but as far as that goes, it's not having a studio head come in that has that kind of power. And I worry a little bit about it. We'll have to see. It could be a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they do some off the wall stuff and they let it happen, and maybe Disney lets it happen. We'll have to see.
Fresh lick of paint, and then we get some cool shit. Next Flanagan horror. Maybe we finally get the fucking Guillermo del Toro Jabba movie.
That'd be great. I love that.
I'm sticking to. I'm so pissed off that didn't happen.
Yeah, me too. But Dave, I love you, Dave. I do love you. Just loosen the grip just a little bit. The more you tighten your grip, the more star systems or good projects will slip through your fingers. Just a little bit. But either way. All right, let's move on to our next bit of news here. I thought this was just a fun quote, an interesting quote. Rory McCann on playing Balin Skull and following Ray Stevenson. He had a quote. He had an interview about it. He said, "I think it's the right decision to carry on his storyline, not just cut it off. We've done it before with other things, and I hope the fans embrace it, and I'll do my best. I'm just starting now, so I'm just trying to be in the right zone for doing it. It's pretty bloody exciting. I mean, I remember being a kid with my dad going to the first one, probably the late 70s and 80s, and now I'm training with a lightsaber at night, so it's pretty exciting. Thrones has really helped with that. Same kind of... That's what she said.
No, I mean, like, swinging around a stick in the back garden is training with a lightsaber.
True. That's true. Thrones has really helped with that. Same kind of moves, same blocking. Doesn't have the same sexy sound, though. Oh my God, lightsabers are lighter. Having said that, the throne sword is sun swords, and you got to pretend that they're 3 times heavier than they are. But it's all pretend, really. It's all very exciting. I'm really happy, even more happy that Rory's doing it, considering he had like the friendship with Ray. I think that's important. Mm-hmm. I think it's a nice way to like just beyond Rory McCann being a great actor and fitting the role very well. It feels like a friend picking. It feels like Sean Astin picking up Frodo and carrying him up the stairs at the end of Mount Doom in a way. It has that kind of.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Right. So I love that idea. I love Rory McCann. I'm excited to see what he does in Ahsoka season 2. What do you thought? What do you think on
that? I wasn't aware of. Did you see? First off, did you see the? I don't know if they showed it to the general public. The photos of him as Balin.
I did see them. I don't know if they showed the public either. I don't know if they showed the public, but I definitely saw a leaked photo.
Fucking cool.
Yes,
like,
he looks very good.
He looks more like weathered, and like his beard has gotten darker, and it's like he's gone through this, like almost like a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if there's going to be a bit of a time jump. But I wasn't quite aware of his friendship with Ray, and I at the start I was kind of gutted that it wasn't Liev Schreiber,
right?
Because I thought that would be like that's the fucking.
I like that one.
The guy. And then I started to I would read the stories of like his relationship with Ray, and it's like they were really close friends, and I was like, there's no one else. There is no one else.
Yes, I agree. As soon as I heard that, I like the same thing. I remember when I heard the announcement of, or I don't know if it was ever announced or if it was leaked. Either way, whenever it came out,
leaked, and then they kind of were like,
soft announced it. Yeah, I remember when that came out, I was like, man, I didn't even think of him. I didn't consider him, but man, that does.
I'm pretty sure we talked about when we were floating the idea of
I don't think we
who
did.
could take it on.
To be fair, maybe we did.
Sure we were like, who was? What about? I'm pretty sure we did because I said, "Who's the guy who plays the Hound?" And then you said,
Ron McCann.
Yeah.
Maybe we did, and I'm getting old and I'm forgetting these things. Like
you're starting to lose the plot.
I have daily competition with PJ Campbell, like about movies and stuff, and every once in a while, I'm like, did you know this? And he's like, yeah, we talked about it. Sure, okay, that's probably right. I just forgot about it.
Have you seen Ballerina? Yeah, we just did an episode on it. Which, by the way, Ballerina, fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. I thought it was very solid movie. Okay, let's move on into our next bit here. Mia Goth has been, this is again hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but from all the trades and all the proper trades, I believe this is obviously, I think this is definitively happening unless something else happens in the meantime. Mia Goth is going to be joining Starfighter as a villain opposite of Ryan Reynolds. Mia Goth, best known probably for her work in the X trilogy, the X Pearl and Maxine trilogy, the horror trilogy, which she does some great work in.
She is great work in. So fucking good in Pearl.
Yes, right. Unhinged in a great way. So good.
I'm actually kind of pissed that she's gonna be in this project.
Right.
Because if they were to do a live action Iskat Akaris,
oh yeah,
she's my number one. Because you need someone who could be fucking psycho and like scary, like genuinely put the fear of God into you, but have that like delicate, like almost frail look, But then when she switches it on, you're like, oh my God, you are terrifying.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with her. I think she's done a lot of great work. She's actually been in some other stuff as well. But that's what I know her best from, and I think she could be a better fit. I think this is probably the part that initially Mikey Madison was up for, that she turned down for money reasons, supposedly.
That's wild.
Yeah, I agree. But hey,
didn't Mikey Madison win an Oscar?
Yes, he did. So
that's an extra $1 million on your paycheck.
So. She's doing okay for herself. So he'll be fine without Star Wars, and Star Wars will be fine without her as well, to be honest with you. But I like that. I think Mia Goth's a good choice for sure. Following up, the less confirmed one, the more scoopery rumor about it is that Dakota Johnson is being eyed for a role in this movie as well, potentially.
No, don't put her in this. Put her in something with Pedro.
I haven't seen the Materialist. Is that good?
I haven't seen the Materialist, but I've been seeing the clips of the press run.
Right.
Those two together are just.
If she enters Star Wars, she could eventually, unless Mando dies in the Mando movie or the Mandoverse movie.
Oh, if Pedro gets killed by Dakota, because their relationship is very much like a bickering, like I hate you kind of a deal, even though you can tell they're like best friends.
Right.
Yeah, dude, it's
be interesting to see. I wonder if she'd be a love interest for Ryan Gosling. That'd be an interesting possibility to do. I don't know, but I'd be okay. I think she's
Mikey
good.
Madison's next film is Reptilia.
Yeah, she joined
Kirsten Dunst.
Yes, that's what she joined instead.
Okay,
it's more. I want to say more serious. I think Star Wars is too big IP for her. I think that's kind of what it is as well. That's my own process. I think she wants to avoid the IP stuff for now. I think that's my read on the situation as well. Maybe not just a money thing, but I don't know for sure. Dakota Johnson, I think, would be kind of a fun addition. I'd like to see her in something as well. I think she's grown in my estimation. She kind of, as she gets a little older, she's kind of getting a little bit of that Tony Gilroy in her, and that she doesn't give an F. Like she'll just basically say whatever comes to mind. So
I'm going to say something that's going to be very, very controversial.
Okay.
She didn't suck in Madam Web.
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I haven't seen it. But okay. I believe it.
Madam Web. Not a good movie.
She says so. She actually, Dakota Johnson's come out and said that.
To the point where, I'm going to reference him again. Hideo Kojima he loves to review his movies. He loves to do a big old you should read his review of The Last Jedi. It's like 5 pages long.
Okay.
all his reaction was saw Madam Web.
That's it.
That's it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Dakota Johnson, actually really fucking good. It's not a case of like, was Jared Leto good in Morbius? No, Morbius was a shit film and Jared Leto was shit in it. Dakota Johnson was in a good performance in a shitty movie.
Yeah, that's what exactly I agree. That's what it felt like to me. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment on it that way, but that's what I've heard from other people as well. So that makes a lot of sense to me. She's good in what she's done. I've always liked her in everything I've seen her in. So I'm always happy to have more talent in Star Wars. I'm just happy. I'm just feeling this great relief. I don't know about you, but this like kind of like this knowing that like this is set to start filming in September. Like this feels like we've had this like a lot of stop and starts, and this is happening and not happening, and happening. And I know Mando and Grogu already has films, so we kind of gotten that out of the way, kind of ripped the bandit off that it's something has actually happened.
We still got to wait till next. Is it? No, it's next May. Yeah,
next May is when it comes out. But that always felt like it was definitely going to happen. It was Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and it was a Mando. That was definitively going to happen. This being a new property, new things, no whatever. This actually, I could say I am 99.999% sure this movie's happening. So, like, if ever we're gearing up into that timeline, I mean, I always throw something up there, but like,
unless they pull the plug like the day before,
right? But I can't sit having with Sean Levy, with Ryan Gosling, with if Dakota Johnson's and Emily Goff, and I think we're good to go on this one. In fact, like it's been said as it's starting to film in September. So they're already actually Sean Levy even had a quote recently. It was like, we're not preparing for it. We're in pre-production right now. They're actually doing pre-production work now. So
are they filming it? Where are they filming it? Over here?
I believe they're filming it. I don't know where they're filming it, to be honest with you.
You keep going with the next story. I'll look it up.
Okay. I remember, I think I knew that at one point, but I can't remember what it was.
Because with the new tariff thing, they better hope it's filming over there.
Andor, well, Matt's looking it up. Andor hits #1 in streaming.
Maybe it's filming in England.
Okay, cool. Andor has been the most critically acclaimed TV series in the Star Wars canon. Now appears to be drawing viewers to match distinction. Nielsen's top 10 streaming ratings for the week ending May 18, 2025 shows Andor is the #1 streaming movie with over 931 million minutes viewed. This week corresponds with the release of the final 3 episodes of season 2 and Disney Plus show It Beat Bluey. Disney show Bluey and Netflix's Nanas round off the top 3. Andor rating had grown each week from season 2, growing from 721 million, 821 million, 830 million to the last one again of 931 million views. It also put Rogue One back into the top 10 of movies being streamed as well. So it actually had a nice bump up there as well. It's nice to see. It's nice to see that like everything we've always had. Our ratings conversations for Star Wars has been dismal recently. Obviously, like, Acolyte ate shit, unfortunately. Again, that's not a comment on the thing. That's just the views weren't there. Skeleton Crew, fortunately, seems like it did not do very well viewing wise as well. So it's nice to have a show that we can say people came and watch it even outside the fan base. And I think what's even more important about that is it bolsters Star Wars to be on the right track again. It's a kind of a reset of things. Like Skeleton Crew, we love Skeleton Crew. I want to see a Skeleton Crew season 2. I don't think we're getting one, but I would love to see a Skeleton Crew season 2. But it didn't do anything to change the mindset of Star Wars is declining or Star Wars is whatever. Which it is. We can have that conversation all day, but the business-wise things, you can't argue that the views have been going down and declining. This turning around is nice. It resets the narrative a little bit, and it gives you a little idea of maybe, okay, well, we know what to do. We can do more with this, and we can be a little bolder and try some different things. And Disney's got to love it. Disney's got to love this idea. We got 931 millions, and it put Rogue One back in the top 10. Like that's business-wise, that's good. And when business is good, that means we get more opportunities. Which is the way I look at it.
And I will say, I did see the other day that Genevieve O'Reilly has been submitted for consideration for Best Supporting Actress Emmy.
Yes, there are a lot of Emmys that was nominated.
Which is kind of bullshit. She should be in for Best Lead Actress. What do you think about it, really?
Yes and no. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think it might have been a way like she had a better shot at the supporting because of It's like sometimes the rules about minutes of the show being in kind of thing. So like,
That's so stupid.
it's a weird kind of thing. I get it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But I'm very excited about that. I was saying a lot of the Emmys. I think it's going to be a good award season for it. So I'm excited about it for sure. Yeah, anything to say about Andor's? Like, what do you think about that as far as it like getting such a high rated episodes?
I think it should be because they've been rolling Tony out to every show, every carpet, and the man's probably like, "Let me like the show is over. What are you still doing here? Go home."
Ferris Bueller. Not just Tony Gilroy. Diego Luna. Obviously, you mentioned Diego Luna taking over for
Jimmy Kimmel.
For Jimmy Kimmel this week. He's been doing his old rounds.
He's been crushing it, and I'm not just talking about his anti-Trump monologues. Like his who was he did the interview with.
So I saw clips of him with RJ Arjona, obviously, but also with Patton Oswalt, which was nice.
The Patton Oswalt one was good. The Alan Tudyk one was his banter with Guillermo.
Yes, yeah,
fantastic. Because it was like the end of his first anti-Trump monologue,
right.
And he's like, and if you're offended by anything that I've said, and like you can see, like before he said this, the camera panned over to Guillermo, and you can see like his eyes were welling up with like pride, and because he was talking about being an immigrant and coming from Mexico. And you can see Guillermo's eyes were like welling up with like pride and emotion. And then Diego just goes, and if you're offended by anything that I've said, the words of this monologue, no, they were written by Guillermo.
Funny stuff.
Tiffany Haddish. He had an interview with Tiffany Haddish. And Tiffany Haddish was like, I've just seen somebody, you're single, you're divorced. And she's like playing this whole thing like she's like super, and I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying it was an act because Diego is a very handsome man, but Diego's like, no, sorry, my partner's here, and he's like pointing up to his girlfriend, and like they go to pan. He's like, don't show her, don't show my partner, but like, and Tiffany Haddish is like constantly like going like, hey, I know you said you're not single, but you're not exactly married. Like this is the banter between the two of them was incredible. And then
that's funny.
He did an interview with Alan Tudyk. And they went out onto this. They did the segment where where the celebrities go out onto the street and they're like, "Do you recognize me?"
Right.
Him and Alan Tudyk went out dressed as stormtroopers onto the Walk of Fame, and they're like taking pictures and they're like, "Have you got $10 for the photo?" Da, da, da. And the end when Diego takes the helmet off, and there's this one guy in a Star Wars t-shirt. Diego takes the helmet off, and the guy's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" Alan Tudyk takes the helmet off, and you can tell the guy's like, who are you? And Alan Tudyk just goes, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Mark Hamill."
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So yeah, so they've definitely been pimping it, obviously. So they're definitely getting the rewards for that for sure, which is nice. So, all right, got a couple.
Funny they did that for the Acolyte, Book of Boba Fett,
right?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think it's the idea they could get. They could, yeah. I guess. Well, I guess marketing budget comes into play, and in terms of like when they're going to back something they know they can be
budget for the fucking show.
Well, I know, but actually, as I'm saying, they had no money left for marketing for Acolyte. I think that's the problem. That's the problem.
Andor cost way more.
But Andor's going to win awards. Acolyte was never going to win. You can tell me Acolyte was good, and I liked Acolyte. Acolyte was not winning any Emmys.
Obi-Wan Kenobi could have won an Emmy.
Maybe that one. I get you. That one should have been pimped out more potentially. Absolutely.
Skeleton Crew probably could have won an Emmy.
Probably not. Honestly, what would it win?
It could have won Kids' Choice Awards.
Could have. I mean, I'm not saying like I would love to have seen more marketed things, but I just saying I understand why Disney's going to back something, this is the one to back for them as far as that goes. It's critically acclaimed, it's successful, it's everything. It's like it's all the positive vibe. Unfortunately, Acolyte didn't have a positive vibe, so getting behind it made it harder for them. I mean, it could have turned things around, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Imagine if they sent Jude Law to Nickelodeon to get slimed dressed as Jordan and Howard.
You're not wrong. There's definitely creative ways they could have done it better, I think, for sure. I'll withdraw my comment a little bit and say that I think that
meet me halfway. Meet me half.
I'll meet you halfway. Sure.
Yeah.
I guess I'm saying I understand why Disney backed this one a lot. This one makes a lot of sense. There's like no downside to backing this one. Like, we got to get this out there. We can turn this narrative around. This is a critically acclaimed show. This is a whatever. Well-liked show. This is the total package for them. This is like a big win.
But now let Tony go home and see his children.
That's what I go. Exactly. All right, got a few more bits pieces to do. Some new comics were announced. I do want to also talk about the High Republic really quickly. New comics have been announced. I love when we're getting new stuff. The High Republic Initiative, I remember it's kind of funny. I think I was actually harsh on the High Republic Initiative at one point, saying I love the idea of it, but I want to get some more non-related stuff. Like, it's taking up so much of the books and stuff that we haven't got a lot of like other stuff going on. I take that back actually now, though, because I think High Republic Initiative is the way it should have gone, and I hope they do it again. Honestly, I hope they do the Old Republic Initiative, that kind of thing. Yeah, I love the fact that we're taking stuff outside of the movies. A lot of the canon stuff is like, well, we're doing a prequel to Rogue One, the prequel to the prequel. It's all, how does this relate to this? And it's like, well, we're not telling you the most important story. We're telling you how we got to the most important story. And I like the books and comics being able to have their own, like, this is the most important story of the time, like having their own version of that. And the High Republic Initiative is exactly that. They told this grand, sprawling epic of books and comics and stuff. And it was successful overall. I love Phase 3. I know I mentioned before Phase 2, I was not exactly as a big fan of, but we got to Phase 3. I'm right on board with it again. Halfway through Trials of the Jedi. I'm excited about finishing that one up. But we have it all tied up on things. However, we do have some new comics coming out now that have been announced. We have a Han Solo Hunt for the Falcon miniseries, which I'm loving the idea of. It's the sequel trilogy era, which has been kind of lack recently. Obviously, it's been divisive, so I don't know, maybe they haven't wanted to concentrate on it, but getting something in that era, I love that idea. And that's a perfect kind of story we can do. And then it's
post 2027. I think that's when they're gonna.
I agree.
They're gonna go all in, I think.
Tangentially, like, related to the sequel trilogy and the original trilogy, but it has that piece that it's a fun piece of lore that we can explore more lore of, honestly. How Han lost the Falcon, hunting for the Falcon, that kind of is a cool storyline for me. And also Boba Fett getting his own Star Wars comic series, and as a next issue of the Black, White, and Red stories. I did one for Darth Maul. They did one for Darth Vader. What if that's the next initiative of that?
Who's writing those?
Let me find out. I wrote that down and I lost it.
If you don't have it to hand, it's okay. It's just more of a
It's usually the anthology. It's usually their anthology bits. It says that the first issue is written by Benjamin Percy and interior art's done by Chris Allen.
Okay,
but they have a bunch of different like little vignettes and different art. It's like it's basically the visions of comics. It's all these different like artist styles, which I think is kind of a cool thing to do. So I like that for sure. The last bit I'll mention, the High Republic. There's a great interview. I didn't write it down, but on StarWars.com was like a roundtable of all the High Republic authors, and it was mentioned at the end. Something that very much excited me, hopefully excited a lot of people as well, is that this is they called it the end. Trials of the Jedi is the end of the beginning, and that this ends the High Republic Initiative, the sprawling story we've had, but there are more stories planned in the High Republic era, like already started work on. And they said Michael Siglain, who is he's the big head of it, said, I wouldn't call it Phase 4, I'd call it Phase More at this point, which means we're not going to get it's not going to be an epic, like, sprawling saga. It's going to be like more like stories within, but I'm glad that they're expanding out because I don't want to leave these characters. Some characters I really like, I would love to see more stories from that aren't involved in the grand sprawling epics. So excited about that. Anything that tickle your fancy on that? The Han Solo, Boba Fett, or
Geode Rock Opera. I'm gonna keep saying it. Geode Rock Opera.
I'll just see what happens, man. I'll just see what happens. I hear you pitching for it. So.
With The Rock playing Geode, because he doesn't have to act or try to act. He just has to stand there and smolder.
You know what? Dwayne Johnson's actually going to be put on the test. He's actually been acting recently. He's been going back to actual acting.
I'm
Roles.
terrified for the
So we'll
Smashing
see.
Machine, dude.
We'll see.
I'm terrified to watch that movie.
He's also going to be in a Aronofsky film as well. So it looks like he's trying to do
Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know what? He did some great work back in the day. When he was in Be Cool, and he did some like good work, solid work. So I would like to see him give it a shot.
He was good in The Tooth Fairy.
Not the kind of role I'm thinking of, but all right, 2 more bits of news, and I promise we'll get into our main topic here. First, this is one for you. Got a lot of quotes here. I'm going to read the quotes and have you respond because it's definitely for you. Sam Witwer on Maul Shadow Lord. It surely is a show about bad guys versus worse guys, and our bad guys are still bad guys. This isn't going to be a show where you go, oh, you find out Maul is just a real teddy bear, man. He's just misunderstood. The idea is, in fact, that even though he's a bad guy, is he as bad as Sidious or Vader? And the answer is actually no. From the Sith perspective, the guy has flaws, and these flaws are the humanity that seeps in at various points. And some of this is humanity he did not have maybe earlier in the Clone Wars. Because of things that happened to him, he's rethought a lot of things. This is a guy who knew the Empire was coming, and he was a part of that. He was supposed to be a part of the Clone Wars. He was supposed to work with his master. They're going to bring about the destruction of the Republic, the destruction of his hated enemy, the Jedi Order. He was raised to hate them, and he trained his whole life to destroy them. Well, now we have a show where, okay, all of that was done, but Maul, yeah, you killed a bunch of Jedi during the Clone Wars, but you did not work with Sidious. You didn't know the whole plan. And in fact, you got so scared about his plan that you tried to stop it at the last second. Now the Empire's here, which Maul would have known that was his master's intent. But now that he's seeing it, it's like he's like, is this what we had in mind? Because this isn't what I thought it would be. This is a little scary. Maul comes from a lot of time of swords and sorcery and magic and knights, and now all that color is being sucked out of the universe by this mechanized empire. And Maul's like, is this right? Is this the universe that we were trying to build? There are ideas that I had back in Clone Wars that I present to Dave, or even in Rebels, and I also know things that Dave wanted to do, and Dave would go, I'm going to cut this part out of the script. And I have that I like it so much because I'm going to cut this part out of the script that I have that I like so much because this isn't the Maul show. Or I'd say, Dave, what if this happens? And he goes, it's not Maul's show. You can't go into that little level of detail. We're seeing this from Ezra's perspective or Ahsoka's perspective. And every time he said that this isn't Maul's show, it never occurred to me that Maul could have a show. So I just took those ideas and I'm like, well, I guess we'll never see that. Now he's like, well, it's Maul's show. So now I'm invited to go to people and say, well, what about this? And they go, great, you're right. We should explore that. So I love everything I've heard about this so far. I like that we're not going to have a humanized Darth Maul completely, but the fact that he's like, they're going to touch a little bit on that angle because you kind of have to do that as a protagonist. You got to get inside his head and you have to have some small level of, if not empathy, understanding where he came from, kind of thing. You see his motivations, even if you don't disagree or how he would act. I like we're getting that. I like the fact that we're getting to have Sam Witwer, who knows all about Maul. He's a pretty much a Maul aficionado as well. Having him pitch these ideas and be like more heavily involved in it, I like that. And that Dave has collected all these bits and pieces over the years. There's a lot that really could be great about this. I think this has a lot of potential, and I get more excited about it the more I hear about it. I know some people are a little like, well, I got to get out of this era. We're tired of this era.
Shut up.
Maddie, what do you think?
Who's saying that?
There's people.
Who's saying that about this show? I want names. Give me names.
I'll tell you off air.
Tell me off air because I want words. What is there to be said that hasn't already been said? We know Talon is going to be, or whatever they decide to call Darth Talon in this iteration of canon, is going to be our emotional tie-in.
Right.
Because Darth Maul has no emotions other than rage. He feels nothing but rage and hatred. So all he knows since he was a child. So for him to essentially his entire world and his entire being come into question, that's really going to throw him through a loop. So I'm curious to see where Sam goes. I've got my own kind of thoughts, and because like Sam, it's obviously Maul is my favorite character, so I've thought about this a lot.
Right.
So I'm curious to see where he goes and if his ideas kind of match up with mine.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be disappointed if they. I'm going to make that crystal clear from the off. I'm not going to be disappointed if they're not, because ultimately, Sam Witwer is Darth Maul.
You mean you're gonna take what the show gives us?
1000%.
Something we have always talked about doing, and that you should be doing at the same time.
We should be there, and I'm probably gonna have moments where I'm like, damn, I wish they would have done this.
Right. That's okay. That's understandable.
That's fine, but then I'm also gonna be like, hey, Sam has input in this, and at the end of the day, he is Maul. He embodies the character.
Right.
So who am I? As much as Maul does mean to me, who am I to say, nah, you did that wrong, buddy? I'm not. This isn't a case of Dave Filoni saying, "Oh, it's getting Anakin to say, oh, I have a wife. I wish you could meet her," and then Sam saying, "Actually, they already met."
Right.
It's not a case of that.
Right. Exactly.
This man is like, all due respect to Serafinowicz, you played him in one movie. You voiced him in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Witwer is Darth Maul.
I get that 100%. Absolutely. And I fully agree with you. He has been special with his character. He's been really part of his character for a long time. And
now let him also play the son in season 2 of Ahsoka.
Which I think is going to happen. I kind of feel like it's going to happen.
I fucking hope so.
I think so. I think it's definitely going to happen at this point. I'm excited about this. This is going to be our first. This is gonna be our first weekly show in a while. I think Visions is coming out, but they're probably gonna drop that all the time.
We got Visions,
but Visions is kind of gonna come out the same. It's gonna be one drop, I think, probably like it usually is. Which we'll talk about how we're gonna cover that now in our next format.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get Mando and Grogu before we get this.
That, from what I heard, this was first quarter before Mando and Grogu, but I wouldn't be absolutely shocked either, to be honest.
Halloween. Drop it around Halloween.
You better not wait that long, do you? Unless it's Halloween this year, you're talking. That's what they're doing. Visions.
Yeah, I'll take Halloween this year.
That's what they're doing. Visions, though. That's what
I wouldn't mind it.
I want it now. I want it all, and I want it now. So give it to me.
I want it. I want it now. If Sam, if you're hearing this, I'll reach out to the show somehow. Reach out to PLD. Mm-hmm. Get my number from PLD. Because I know you have connections that have connections to Sam Witwer. Get my number from PLD.
I have connections with people who have connections to him, basically. That's about as far as I can go.
That's what I'm saying. Send me the link to the whole show. I swear I won't leak it.
That's fair.
I might watch it with PLD on a stream, I think.
Yeah, because if you're getting it, then I'm getting it. That's be honest with me. For sure. No, but yeah, that's true. I think it's going to come out quarter one. I'm hoping. Maybe I'm just being hopeful. I feel like that's the case. I think we're getting October. I think we're getting Visions this quarter. I think we're getting Darth Maul. I think Maul Shadow Lord the first quarter of 2026. Mando and Grogu May of 2026. Ahsoka season 2 coming fall 2026, and then the end of 2026 is when we're going to get that Star Wars Visions, the Ninth Jedi show. So I don't think there's any room after Mando and Grogu for that. That's why I think Maul's going to take place before that. That's what I think. Unless they decide, I mean, theoretically they could decide to do the Ninth Jedi one first. I had Visions drop in October, and then the Ninth Jedi come right away, and in the season they kind of build out of Visions potentially. I could see that being the case. Then shoving Maul back to post Mando and Grogu. I mean, we don't know anything until announcements for sure. That's whatever I remember hearing the rumor that was supposed to be early on 2026. I guess we'll find out. I actually really more and more, by the way, looking forward to that Ninth Jedi Visions thing. I like Visions. I like that short. I know we're getting a new episode of that short in Visions season 3. But the fact we're getting an full eight, maybe 10, but full 8 episode series on that. That's the one, because that's the one drawback of Visions for me. It's it's a 15-minute episode and it's done. So I can get into it and it's okay, it's done. This we're getting a full-on tale. I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that. So, all right, one last bit, and it actually transitions nicely into us talking about A New Hope, and that is Kathleen Kennedy recently introduced a screening of a Star Wars original print at BFI Film Festival.
I was supposed to go to this.
You were, and you didn't?
I was supposed to go to this, but I was ill that day.
I would have gone. I would have wheeled my hospital bed up to the freaking thing.
Because I am a member of BFI. I'm a member of the. It's not an exclusive thing. It's it's £50 a year. and
Right.
they do like all these. It was how I got to go to the Tom Cruise
Right. Oh,
conversation with.
right. Of course, with Corey.
Yeah, no, it was just Tom on the stage talking about his career.
Oh, that okay. That one. I'm sorry. They're talking about the other one with Mission Impossible. Okay,
Mm.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and as soon as it came up, it was like revisiting getting the Oasis tickets all over again.
Right.
I was like sitting there for the better part of an hour just waiting for the tickets to come through. And I
Right.
was like, oh my god! Like I was sitting in the waiting room for it, which, by the way, never happens with it. A lot of these events, normally like you're right in. This one, I was waiting for the better part of an hour just in the waiting room to get the ticket because it
Wow.
was for members only of the
Right.
BFI. It wasn't a thing that you could just buy a ticket for.
Right. Right.
And I got the ticket. I was like, fuck yeah! And then the day came, and I woke up, and I felt like shit, and my back was completely seized up, and I was just like,
Oh no, that's awful. I feel so bad for you, man. I feel awful for you,
so
man.
I gave the ticket to a friend of mine who is also a massive Star Wars fan, and he went in my place. Luckily, they didn't ID him because it was you have to show it. Normally, you like if it's something big like that, they'll like be like, "Hey, can you show us the card that you used to
God.
buy the ticket, please?"
Right.
And he got in, and he said it was amazing.
That's. I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, that's part of the thing. Like I talked about for a long time. Like Kathleen Kennedy actually went there and said in her introduction, she's like, "I'm here just so you know, this is actually nothing illicit about this," because George famously put it away and didn't want to have the original version out anymore. I don't know if he's softened on things. I kind of have the feeling he has softened a little bit. In fact, I just don't think he cares as much anymore. I think honestly, he's just got his own thing. He's got his museum. He's got his wife. He's got his kids. Like I think he's just happy doing his own thing, and like he's like, yeah, whatever. Whether they release it or not, probably not. But he's like, oh, you want to show it? Yeah, go ahead.
Holiday special.
I don't think he could ever be that chill. Um, but it's definitely an interesting thing. I mean, we did get some, of course, got the bad press about it, like how it looks bad now, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, kind of like, you guys are missing out on, they're missing the forest for the trees.
Yeah, you're missing the whole point.
Like, this is an artistic endeavor. This is like, you get to see how it was back in 1977 when it came out. Like, one of the original prints. This is like before all the tweaks, before all the special editions, and I understand that, like, yes, of course, it is dated now. I think the special editions, the greatest thing the special editions did for the saga is it got to introduce younger viewers to the saga, and they could look at it and not be, saying it's dated, like because a lot of people like the fans who watch it. Like I know we're on watching First Center, and Jennifer Landis said her kids like the prequel trilogy much better because they're younger and the prequel trilogy's graphics were good, the effects were good. Tried watching the original trilogy and it's like they didn't quite gel as much. Updating it as they did, as George did in the 1990s, at least it has that kind of connective and it feels like it's a little more in tone with the rest of the films of the day. As an artiste, I would love to see the original version. I would love to get a crystal clear original copy of what I saw back in I probably saw it in like 1980. I think is probably when I saw it, probably somewhere around there. But either way, I'm so happy that this happened. I'm just so happy that this happened. That people got to do it, and I wish I could get a chance to see it.
Shout out to my friend Sean who went at my place. He took a picture with Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, nice.
And my plan was to take a picture with Kathleen Kennedy and announce myself as the new CEO. I was going to announce myself as Kathleen Kennedy's replacement.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Didn't happen. Oh well. But the bit of news that did come from this is interesting to point out of all the things she said. She actually mentioned Starfighter in the future. And she said, I really think that now we're in a position where it's broadened the possibility of stories and filmmakers we can bring in to tell stories that mean something to them. It doesn't necessarily have to connect to every little thing that's been done in Star Wars. It can actually be a standalone story and that builds into many, many other stories. She also did confirm that Starfighter is filming in September. That's what she said then. So we are having to have an important, like a definitive statement at that point that we're going through. What do you think about her statement about the future and as far as that goes? Because to me, I have some interesting thoughts, I think, on it.
A statement about the future. It's kind of hard, really. We don't really know what the future is. We don't. We know what's on the docket. We don't know when exactly the docket says it's going to be coming. But we know what's on the docket. We know Jimmy Mangold has got his film. We know Starfighter is set for June. We know we got more Shadow Legend coming out. We know we've got the Shamina Bates Ray movie. We got the Kimberg trilogy. We got the Ryan Johnson trilogy. We got the Taika movie. We've got the I don't know, however many directors that we got the Mike Flanagan horror movie. We got the Guillermo del Toro Jabba movie. We've got the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron. We got
Most
this, that, and the other.
Most of which aren't happening, honestly, let's be honest.
I'm holding out hope for the GDT one.
I know you are.
It just seems like they've the same thing that we always say, like they've got ideas but nothing concrete.
Well, the idea that I think what her statement says is what I was saying about Andor. I think the Andor has sparked this. The idea of the quote being, it's broad the possibility of stories and filmmakers we can bring in to tell stories that mean something to them. I think Kathleen Kennedy saying, this is what we did with Tony Gilroy and Andor. We should be doing this for more people. I think that's a good sign. Speaking of the Ray movie, I will say that I didn't talk about it too much, and I know you didn't really want to talk about it, but there was the rumor, obviously, that Scooper did come out and say that the Ray movie has been put indefinitely on hold again. They said specifically it was not canceled. It was just put on hold. We both know that clickbait is the way of life around the internet. And I think it's important to note, because this was out there, I wanted to comment on it, much like Force Center did, honestly. I think we had to comment on it just to kind of make sure that the truth is out there from what we know. And nobody knows any truth. Exactly, right, X-Files show now. And the truth is this. You can't really be put on hold when you haven't started much of the process.
Thank you.
I mean, let's be honest. I think there's rumblings of something. I think, honestly, the story, what happens is the last thing we knew Stephen Knight was writing. We knew George Nolfi was coming in to do a pass or a rewrite. I don't know if it was a rewrite or a pass, or they didn't actually get clear, but he was on there. I think that, is there some shuffling going on behind the scenes? Absolutely. I think the initial leak way back in the day was we had Mando and Grogu. Starfighter kind of came out of nowhere and leapfrogged everything because Sean Levy was ready to go. Next was going to be the Ray movie directed by Sinead Bechenoy, and then maybe James Mangold movie was then. I think what
I heard the opposite.
You did.
I heard the Mangold's movie was going to be the first thing.
See, that was going to be the first thing until he decided to do the Bob Dylan biopic, and he was going to do something else, and he got pushed back.
Thank God for that, because that movie rocks.
I had not seen that yet, unfortunately. I still do want to watch that one. But I think, honestly, that's what's happening now. I think that the James Mangold movie is more ready to go into pre-production now. Now, because he's done with the biopic and everything else, he and Bill Willman had a draft they're working on. I think that's more ready. I just think that's leapfrogged the Ray movie. I think that's all really that's happened. And so it's on hold in terms of it being just James Mangold might be done first. I think there's absolutely plans that Ray is going to be in. There's actually other leakers who have said that Ray is going to be in multiple movies. That Ray is.
They've said that. They leakers from themselves came out and said that they want Ray to going forward. They want Ray to be the center point of focus.
I think that's so. I don't think this is going to be like on hold is a temporary thing. I do think, and I'll say it out there. And again, this is not. I have no ball in the game here. I have no I don't have any contacts about this, but it does feel to me that I said this for a long time when they talked about Simon Kimber coming on during the trilogy, to a new trilogy, and now that was kind of going to be kind of episode 10, 11, and 12. That's kind of how it went down. I always thought from that moment that the Charmaine Abid-Chenoy film was going to be in danger. I think it's going to still be in danger. I don't think Charmaine Abid-Chenoy's movie is going to be made. I don't think so.
Bad idea. Terrible idea. If they do that, terrible idea.
I would, if I had to bet, she's not going to be in charge. I think that whole movie is going to be folded in to the Simon Kinberg trilogy, and Ray's going to lead the Simon Kinberg trilogy.
If they do that, that's a dumb idea. That's a stupid idea. With what the story's supposed to be about, she is an expert on that subject matter. She has an Oscar-winning documentary, which, by the way, so does the guy who wrote directed two of the arcs of this show that is currently reaching everybody right now. So I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, she got an Oscar."
Well,
he's
he's
for a
no
documentary.
that
That
guy's
doesn't matter.
writing. That guy's writing Mangold's. He's co-writing Mangold's movie. He's not.
Exactly.
He wasn't. He's not doing Obey Chinoy's movie.
No, but this is what I'm saying. People of that caliber.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying, "Yeah, she got an Oscar, but it was for a documentary." So what? So did Bo Wilmot.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Are we gonna like discount him because of that?
I don't even know.
Before.
I don't even know it's necessarily anything against her. I think it's the idea. I honestly, I mean, it could be an idea. There could be exactly what you're saying it is, and if that's the case, that's kind of shitty. I agree. I think it might partially be a case of if Rey is the center of the new trilogy, then why are we having a Rey solo movie come out?
Got to start it somewhere.
No, but I know, but it's like saying we're going to have a Luke Skywalker movie before Episode 7. Like,
okay, I get what you mean. I think the most likely outcome is going to be they're going to fold it, like you said, they're going to fold it into the trilogy, and her movie is going to be the one that sets it up.
I'm hoping that's the case. She could direct the first episode. Kinberg has not been officially designed as a director. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The reason why she might not direct it also, though, is because if Simon Kinberg is in charge of this trilogy, he does, and I can't argue this. I have to argue this point. He kind of does. If he is the guy who's in charge of this trilogy, he is the man of this trilogy. He deserves the right to be able to pick who he wants to direct. If he has somebody he wants to direct, and it's not Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, it's not necessarily against her. It's just that I want my guy in place. It's like when you take over a sports team, the general manager comes in. I want my own coach. I want my own kind of guy heading up things at this point. And that's nothing against Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. I could kind of get behind that in terms of I would understand that Simon Kinberg has that right if he's going to be heading up the trilogy. I still think it sucks. I do think that we should be taking swings at things. Absolutely. And what I'm going to hope for is maybe it just gets pushed back. Like maybe the Obaid-Chinoy thing. Let's get the main story there, the big one out there. And then when we're successful again and we're back on like top of the world, we can do more of these like, but this was going to be sounded more, maybe more experimental kind of thing. And you can get actually even weirder with it and let her do her own thing, potentially.
It's not even because like the whole thing is about someone being persecuted for being an outsider. And like she's the subject matter expert on this. She has an Oscar for a documentary on women in particular being persecuted by other cultures. You have and it's not even here we go, it's a woke thing. It's got to be all about it. No. She knows enough about the subject matter to have won a fucking Oscar for it.
I don't disagree.
Tony Gilroy is a historian. He studies revolutions. That's his thing. So to take someone who is so well versed in what this story ultimately revolves around, I think it would be stupid because then what are you doing? Just taking someone out to write a Star Wars movie. That's dumb because what is Andor? It's a story of revolution put into the Star Wars bubble.
I agree.
I'm not even saying it's an icky because it is an icky move to like take it away from a creator, but like it's just logistically, creatively, it's dumb. That's a stupid idea.
I'm in between on it. I would say I guess the way I could put it is, do I want Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy directing this film you're talking about? Yes, I think we should take. I think artists should be taking swings, and we should be taking swings at artists. If the studio has to decide we can't have this movie and we want Rey centering this movie, it's too confusing. We have to pick one at a time. And the Simon Kinberg one is the one that's more safer to go with. And Simon Kinberg wants his own guy wants his own wants his own person in charge of directing the film. I get that too. And I think that Simon Kinberg shouldn't be forced to work with somebody he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but they should honor the commitment that they made.
True. The commitment was to develop the movie. The thing that's the commitment. They developed it and they're not working with it. And like I said, maybe we can shift it and we can maybe make it happen later on. potentially. If she's willing to wait for it. I get it. There's some makiness to it, and I do think it's not a good thing to get her out of the thing, but I also understand some things about it as well. So it's been interesting to see how it develops. We still don't know anything about what's going on at this point. It still hasn't been quite made crystal clear. We won't for a while because we're going to concentrate on Starfighter. Starfighter's going to be there. And if this rumor is true and it's on hold, I bet you we're going to talk about Mangold next. By the time Star Wars Celebration comes out in 2027, I'll be talking about, it'll talk about Starfighter. That's coming out right then, and I'll talk about Mangold's movie coming out the next time, and maybe then we'll get more confirmation as what's next. And who knows? That's a long way away, though.
Here's the thing: I want to quote the legend. There's Mr. Sir Ken Napslow. He hasn't even been knighted. I'm just calling him Sir. And this goes to everyone. We're not in the room,
right?
We're not in the room.
100%.
We don't know shit. So let's just sit back and enjoy.
Absolutely, I get that, and I agree with you. I agree with you for sure on that. So, okay, so let's see what else we got here. That I think will do it for us. I think we're gonna ready an hour and 40 in. Let's get through A New Hope.
We owe the people a bit. We owe Douglas a bit longer, I think, because we've robbed him of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I do. A New Hope, episode 4, Andor season 4, Obi-Wan season 2, kind of as it is. Rebel season 5. Basically, really what it is. A New Hope, the big granddaddy that started
I can tell you're a dad.
1977's A New Hope. We're going to break this down as if we just saw it for the first time. We break it down with all of our different categories. I mean, not really the first time, but we break it down like we do all of our other shows, our categories that we go bit by bit. And let's go through it. First thing we always talk about here on Holy Snokes during our review segments, Hondo Watch, 1977.
Wait. We're still technically doing our Andor run.
True. So should we slide it to Moskwatch, 1977?
I think we should.
Why don't we do both? Moskwatch and Hondo Watch, 1977. Did Linus Mosk and Hondo Ohnaka appear in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope? Not that I'm aware of. In the background somewhere? Maybe. We don't know. But it did not appear on screen as far as I can tell.
My headcanon is this. Mosk joined the Empire.
Okay.
Mosk became a stormtrooper. And because Mosk is so stupid, he is so weak-minded, he was the stormtrooper that got mind-tricked by Obi-Wan.
Was he that, or was he the one that hit his head on the door on the way in?
No, he's too short. He's too short.
Too short for that. Too short to be a stormtrooper. Too short to be a stormtrooper.
Jesus Christ.
All right, fair enough. Let's get out of that.
Hondo, I'm going to say, was somewhere in Chalmers when it happened.
That I would absolutely believe. That would actually make absolute sense in the world. So for sure. Maybe he, like I said, as I pitched last time, he's the one that took Ponda Baba and Dr. Evison from Jeddah to Chalmers. Make it happen. Make it happen.
You hate that. You really do hate that cameo.
Really hate that cameo so much. So much I hate that cameo. I hate it so much. All right. Let's go to our first category then. Our crew member of the week, or basically our favorite character of the week. This is who is our favorite character of episode 4? Which one really shines? Obviously, doesn't mean the whole trilogy. Like you could have a character we like the whole trilogy, but in this particular episode, somebody else might be the one that makes the grade. And Maddie, my friend, who is your favorite character from episode 4?
My favorite character used to be Han Solo.
Okay.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
Han, we talk about James Campbell and the hero's journey. Right?
Yep.
You look at the arc of Han in this. He's essentially a dirtbag, scumbag, owes money to a gangster, is only in this for the money.
Right.
Sees the princess. He's like, hey, get the money, get the girl. Cool. He's cool. He's got this swagger. He's Harrison Ford, so of course he's the most handsome bastard in the fucking film.
Of course.
And you think that he's not going to come back.
Right.
Then you have, I saw a meme of this the other day. You have Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, who is essentially the greatest pilot Galaxy's ever seen.
Okay.
This random guy comes along. His son is on his ship. His daughter is on his ship. His old Jedi Master is on his ship. His old droid he fought with in the Clone Wars is on his ship. The droid that he built as a child is on his ship. And then this guy comes in from out of nowhere and blasts him off into space, showing that he is, in fact, the better pilot. Vader's got to be thinking, who the fuck is this guy? But it's the story of, like, he does come back.
You're not wrong.
Now, come on, kid, let's blow this thing and go home. Not let's blow this thing and get out of here. Let's blow this thing and go home.
Yep. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna say it. That is absolutely the same for me. I grew up a Luke fan. Be honest with you, but somewhere around the age of like middle school, it switched over to Han Solo.
Let me guess, it was when you started noticing pretty girls.
Kinda. I think probably the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. And eventually, I think I'll say overall, if I had to pitch somebody, it's Anakin and Vader. So my overall favorites. I think it's his story, so that kind of cements it for me. But still, there's always going to be a place in my heart for the greatest rogue, greatest scoundrel. To the point where I get defensive. And I don't mean to get defensive, and I do not say it out loud very often. And I won't say it out loud because I don't want to get into a battle, because some people love her. There are people pitch now as Hera as the greatest pilot of the Star Wars universe. And I'm like, I love Hera, but it's Han Solo, baby. It's Han Solo all the way.
He goes from saying, there's no mystical energy field controlling my destiny. And then a few movies down the line, that's not how the Force works.
That's how the Force works. It's true. All of it. It's true. It's so good. It's a great arc. And he had a great, we're only talking about A New Hope, obviously, so I can talk about Han Solo in general as everything else, but in A New Hope, he is so needed. Mark Hamill, the slack-eyed farm boy. Princess Leia is a smart, sassy senator. But Han is that cynical kind of just. He is kind of like where Luke is like
he's the everyman.
He is the everyman. That's a great way to put it. Yes, because Luke is like the focus of the audience. He's the protagonist, the guy you follow. Han's that kind of guy. You're looking inside. You're like, that's the guy you're with. That's the psychic guy that you're with. They want to have the beer with, have a Corellian ale with, and cool as. It has a great lines. It has some of the best lines of dialogue. Harrison Ford,
the best.
Harrison Ford. Yeah, we're gonna get to them. A few of them. And that scene you mentioned, like that is my fist pump scene of Star Wars to this day. I still watch. If I watch one scene of Star Wars, if Star Wars is on, I might do something because I've seen it 500,000 times. I'll have it on the background. I will always like stop whatever I'm doing and just sit back when Han Solo comes back and says, and just yahoo, kid. Still get chills. Love it so much. So yeah, I will throw it out there with you. Both our favorite characters, Han Solo. I will shout out Darth Vader because he is the greatest villain of all time, and he's on 12 minutes of screen, and he makes those 12 minutes of screen really work. Every time he comes into a scene, you're like, holy shit, that's the man. That's the evil man. Obi-Wan, I also give credit to, but I really want to actually shout out Princess Leia.
Of course.
Which as a growing boy, I didn't really give her as much credit as I probably should have, because it wasn't when I looked at Luke, I looked at Han. Princess was 11. Princess was, she was there and everything else. But looking as I get older, especially as I became a kid, as a father, I have daughters. As a daughter, I think that it shows you how important she was, and it made me really go back. And Carrie Fisher specifically made me go back. I rewatched that again, specifically looking at her in mind, going, man, she almost made I almost changed it to Leia. Like her sassiness, her heroism, her like wherewithal, her stoicness, not stoicness is the right word, but her just like confidence, her presence among all these other like Harrison Ford types, like Darth Vader type, like Alec Guinness, like she held her own and like makes it crystal clear how powerful Peter Cushing. She is there and just does her job so well. What a great character! What a great performance from Carrie Fisher. Yeah, so I wanted to throw her out there as well, but it's tough to beat nostalgia, and Han Solo will always be there for me, number one. All right, let's go into. Do you have any honorable mentions that you want to throw out there?
One that's going to come up for me later. Tarkin.
Okay.
Tarkin is very much the. When I first saw A New Hope, I was like, oh, that's the big bad. Like,
right.
Vader's just the scary henchman guy.
Right.
I always thought that, like, when I first saw A New Hope, I thought that Tarkin was the big bad.
People will say that to this day still. People actually say that, like, and I it's like, I always like, I'm like, what? But then you watch the movie, you're kind of like, okay, if this is the only movie you saw, you understand that viewpoint. You're like, okay.
If there was no Palpatine, I think Tarkin would have been written in as the overall
Lord, yeah,
bad guy.
And I think canon is kind of like, and Legends too, actually both expanded universes, as it were, kind of have made it overall like, oh, they kind of massaged it a bit. Now it's like Parker was in charge of the Death Star. Darth Vader is like outside the military hierarchy. He's just kind of like Palpatine's right-hand man. So they're kind of almost on even fields in a different way. Tarkin's the head of the military. Vader's has whatever free reign. Vader will be not subservient, but he will defer to Tarkin on the Death Star as like, this is your, all right, as you wish. You're in charge here, whatever. But if Vader ever wanted to take over, or Vader decided like, no, I'm taking this bitch over, I think he would have taken it over.
And because like Vader seems to back off when Tarkin tells him, yeah, let go of fucking Admiral Marty. And he's just like, Vader, release him. Vader does it. You're like, oh, that's the
as
boss.
you wish. As you wish. Yeah.
That's the boss right there.
Right.
That guy's just the muscle.
Right. Absolutely. I guess that way. So, all right, let's get into our next bit of our next category. I spec our favorite lines of dialogue from episode 4. Maddie, go ahead, hit me up with a few, because I know we both have a bunch that we can. We're not scrimping and scraping for ones. We sometimes do.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
You cannot say that line and not try to do the Alec Guinness accent.
Not do the Alec Guinness voice. No, it has to be done. I'm pretty sure it was written into the Geneva Conventions. It has to be done in
contractually speaking. Yes, contractually speaking, you have to do that. If you do that, you will be taken down and shot.
To not do it is a hate crime.
Yes, I fully agree. We are not anti-Guinnessians here.
I have one that is a line that I use to this very day. It is the Han Solo. I'm fine. We're all fine here. Thank you. How are you?
Boring conversation anyway. That's my follow-up. Actually, is what I use after. It's actually, I use that one all the time. You use the first part. I always get to the point where I'm like, boring conversation anyway. I love that part. It's one of my favorite Harrison Ford improv moments. It's so good. It's so fun. I love it. So,
there was one.
I'll throw out a couple. I have a few. I have one that I never would have put down before this rewatch. It just hit me the right way, and it so defines a character for me. It's C-3PO. Don't you call me my philosopher, you overweight blob of grease.
Yep.
Like, odd couple. 3PO. Perfect. I wanted to throw that out because that's not a line that gets talked about quite often. Like, we have these lines that, like, are, our Han Solo conversation. A lot of people talk about that. They quote that or everything else. This is something that doesn't get a lot of love. So I figured I'd throw that out there for us.
Okay, I got a good talking one.
Okay.
It's kind of a moment of hubris because the commander says, "We've analyzed their attack, sir, and there is a danger. Should we have your ship standing by?" And Tarkin goes, "Evacuate? In our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate their chances."
Yes. Oh, so good. So Peter Cushing. I love that one for sure as well. I'm all there on board with you for that one. Let's see. Got a couple of good ones. I will throw it out there, even though I'm not going to talk about it. It's the first time I get to hear. I got a bad feeling about this. You can't not. It's a Star Wars classic. You know, it's classic. Another quote I'll throw out there. It's maybe cliched now, but it wasn't actually until for Last Jedi that really cemented itself for me, and that's
Go on.
"Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope." And like, I know we're not talking about Last Jedi, but when Luke sees when R2 plays that message again for him, it so hit hard. I was like goosebumps, and I watched it today. I'm kind of like, what a great like defining moment. Just help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. So powerful.
Dude, yeah.
So good.
I'll tell you one that is really good one. I got a list there. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
I got that one written down too. That's a good one.
The way he keeps calling Luke kid, they're not that far apart in age.
Right? Defining moment. It defines his character so perfectly at the time. Especially considering we know where he ends up being. Like he does eventually believe, but at that time, nope. So
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I had that one down as well. Yes, it's a great Vader line. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Like there's certain lines that like just work their way into my day-to-day vocabulary.
I got two more like that. One last hurry. Actually, when I left you, I was but a letter. Now I am the master. The master of evil, Dad.
Yes, yeah. Oh, you know what I do love is the one where Han's like pushing. I think he's pushing Chewie into the trash compactor. And he's like, "Get in there, you big furry hoof! I don't care what you smell."
I got a great Obi-Wan one also, like an elegant weapon from a civilized age. Very Alec Guinness line as well.
I don't remember the full line, but I just remember having a Back to the Future moment of when you fought in the Clone Wars. I just had the Back to the Future moment of you don't know what that is yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
All right, I think that's enough for lines of dialogue. Let's move on then to our Laugh It Up Fuzzball, our favorite comic moments of the week. I'll start out by saying the boring conversation anyway with Han Solo was one of my favorites, but I'll defer that one for. I'll do this one. I love when Luke comes into the Falcon after they leave the Death Star and starts talking to Han, and Han realizes that Luke has a crush on her, even though he's a sister. And he just like plays with Luke. He's like, still, I don't know. What do you think? Think a princess and a guy like me? Luke's like, no. And I turn back to Han. He's just like, you can tell he's like totally effing with him. I love it. So it's such a great moment. It's a great character moment. Such a Han Solo moment.
My favorite comedy moment from this is let the Wookiee win.
Shoot. You shot as you got to. Let the Wookiee win. I love the line I didn't catch the first like couple years of my life when Uncle Owen tells 3PO, shut up, sir.
You're right.
I never caught that for like the beginning part, but then we had subtitles and stuff. I was like, oh my god, he's actually saying that, isn't he?
Dude, R2D2 blowing out. I'm guessing. Apparently, that's R5.
Right. Yep. R5. Yep.
Blowing out his motivator so that either one get picked.
He's got a bad motivator. The mouse droids, when Chewbacca is like growls the mouse droid.
Mouse droids just endless humor every time they're on screen.
Endless. Love it so much. And one of my favorite subtle comic moments for me when they're on the Death Star or they're the dogfight at Luke's in the X-Wing. He's flying down and he hears Obi-Wan and he switches off his target computer. And you see like the Yavin 4 base go, Luke, switch your target computer off. You know, what's wrong? It's like, nothing. I'm all right. And you see that one guy's going like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, he has no dialogue in the whole movie. It's just that one. He just kind of goes, like, this is our only guy left. And he's turning off his target. What the?
Have you seen the video of that scene put to Creed's higher?
No, I haven't. I should check that out.
I hate Creed
I know you do.
with an almighty passion. Makes that scene 10 times more awesome.
Awesome. Awesome for sure. My God. So fun.
I mean, the Hans Yehu as well. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, we'll follow it up with Vader going, what? What? So good. So good. So many fun moments. So many fun moments. All right, let's move on. Then we could be here all day for all these categories because this is a film that started it all. Obviously, we have such affinity for it. The next category is very interesting. I struggled with this one a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Put that in your holocron and snoke it. This is our category. We explore more lore. We take something from the movie, and we want to explore more lore, figure out more what's going on here. We want to figure out, like, we know Matt and I sit there and we go, look, how did Han Solo get his name? We want to see that explored. We're going to see that explored more. But obviously, in this case, it's a little difficult because a lot of the projects are newer ones we're watching. And we're like, oh, I do want to see this explored more. Pretty much every drop of water and every grain of sand in this movie, we've explored more lore on. Whether it's a certain point of view books, or it's the EU books that way, or it's
a whole 7-season show dedicated to one line.
7-season show dedicated to one line. Like, what you came up with one. I do have one or two I can kind of throw off on, but go ahead. Tell me more about your idea of what you want to explore more lore of at this point.
In the Tarkin book, it is hinted at that he knows the Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. I want to know how. I want to see exactly how he got to that conclusion.
Gotcha.
I want to see the light bulb moment of, oh,
right. Fair. That's a cool moment. That's cool. I wrote down 3 like little ones that I'm interested in, but the first one I'll give them quick order because there's not much to discuss about them, but we've had a little touch on, but Bail and Brea on Alderaan. I'd like to get a little more like on them during the Rebellion area, during A New Hope, kind of thing. I've always wanted a little bit more from that. We've got a bit pieces of that to the books and everything else, so I can't go too much into it. I mentioned this before during Andor, and this is like actually, it's hard to say this is a part of A New Hope, but seeing Leia being so in charge of the rebellion, so it being not in charge of the rebellion, but like a higher up, and she's there with Dodonna and everything else. I still want to pitch again. I would love to see a Mon and Leia show. Even if it's post Return of the Jedi, just seeing like their interaction and stuff. They seem like they have a lot in common and they could have a great time together. But the most interesting one I have to find is something we have not really gone into. Give me a story or a show or a book or something with Wolf Yularen at the center.
Oh my God.
As someone who is in the Republic with Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan, the good guys for the whole time, but stuck through the transition and is in the Empire at ISB. What does he think about what's going on? You had such insight before. Why did he stick it out, and how did he stick it out? I just think there's a lot of
we got a little bit right in Andor. Like he's
there,
of course.
He's devoted to the Empire, right? But like it's like almost like we'd only get him like for a bit and piece. Like it's more like we got Wolf Yularen is still here, but we don't really know. I mean, no, he's in the Death Star. He's actually in episode 4. That's why I'm able to pull this from episode 4 because he's in that scene in the boardroom scene that we talked about. He's in there. That's why I can talk. I can pull that from more lore. I wouldn't be able to pull more lore if I just seen this for the first time, but I think it's still related enough. I can throw it out there. I think it'd be fascinating to see what happened with him in terms of like how that transition happened after Order 66 and how he got to be in the ISB or whatever. I think it's a fascinating idea.
I'll go a good one.
Okay.
And it's crazy tinfoil hat theory time, guys.
I love it. Give me the crackpot.
So put on your tinfoil hat theories. Put on your tinfoil hats. I don't think that was Owen and Beru's bodies.
Oh. Go on.
With what we learned in Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Okay. All right.
the Baru is a freedom fighter who fought for the abolishment of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
That she keeps a blaster in. She's like the Punisher. She keeps like a gun under everything. I wouldn't be surprised if she just came out. If Owen was like standing there talking to stormtroopers, and Baru just came out with a flamethrower and just torched the fuck out of him. And I'm going by the golden rule of cinema. If you don't see the body,
I mean, kind of did.
no, we saw
Skeletons.
a body.
Those skeletons, yeah.
How do we know that they didn't get torched and then they were like, we can't stay here. It's not safe for us to stay here anymore.
Interesting.
Let's move on. And maybe they went to find Luke, but Luke had already gone.
Oh, interesting. That'd be an interesting story. That'd definitely be an interesting story for sure. So,
if we were to do like a what if,
right. Fair enough. That I could do it. I don't think I'd want that to be a canon. I don't think I'd want that to be canon. But what if? Kind of fun to do. I got a picture of Baru as John Wick. Like he has the.
Hey, I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions. Fair enough. All right, let's move on then to seen a lot of action. Our favorite action beats of episode 4, and there's a bunch of them. I'll start off with one. I mean, I already mentioned it before, so the dogfight on Han's return. That's the best action moment of the entire series by far. I'd say.
Have you seen? This is another one. There is a video of that set to Creedence Clearwater Revival's "Fortunate Son."
No, I'll have to check out that too.
It's fucking heck yeah, brother!
I love it. What are you? Give me your first action beat that you want to discuss.
It's the lightsaber fight.
Okay.
The only one we get.
Right.
And it's like our first introduction to seeing like two Jedi, a Jedi and a Sith,
right,
going at it.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people like, oh, it's so like anticlimactic. It's slow. You got to remember, Obi-Wan is an old man at this point. So for him to be somewhat holding his own against Darth Vader, that's pretty fucking badass.
I agree.
And then he does the ultimate double bird where he's like, oh, you thought you were going to kill me.
Right.
You think that you're now the master? I've got a trick that I never taught you.
Nice.
I'm not going to let you beat me because I'm going to get the ultimate victory for a Jedi, which is to become one with the Force.
It is kind of ballsy to do right in front of him too, like that, huh? Because you love Vader going, what the fuck just happened? I don't get it.
It's the ultimate, like,
yeah. I think the people that had a problem with this are the people who also had a problem with the Maul Obi-Wan fight in Rebels. It's just the style. It's just a different kind of fight. Not everything has to be flips and fights and somersaults and whatever. It depends on the fight. This is two old men in a small hallway, just kind of more feeling each other out after all these years and everything else.
Holy shit, you're right. That's the original hallway fight scene. That just clicked in my brain.
I'm glad to do that for you, Matt. I'm glad to do that for you. But yeah, you know what? It's the introduction of lightsabers in general. How can you not appreciate it? Like, how can you not appreciate the fight like sequences? This is like having your first time seeing lightsabers on screen clashing, and I love it. I think it's great. It's emotional. It's wonderfully done. And you're right. The sacrifice at the end of the fight, brilliantly done. And I love it. So, what else we got? As a kid, there's nothing better than the pew pew of the shooting it out with stormtroopers, like on the like where Luke and Leia swing over the chasm after the gunfire with the stormtroopers up, and the fall, and the screams, and the stormtroopers coming in off the bottom of the screen. It's just fun. That's the definition of pew pew. When everybody says a pew pew, that's what I think of in my head.
Yep. Oh, there's one of the weird. How the fuck have we not mentioned this? Han and Greedo.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an old school Western shootout. So it's like it's under the table.
On the table. Yep.
Like it's not take 12 steps, turn and shoot.
Right.
You got it under the table. It's essentially there is no way that Tarantino didn't pull the bar scene from Inglourious Bastards from Han and Greedo, because they both of them have got their guns pointing at each other's balls under the table.
Mhm.
Han and Greedo got the same. There's no way that didn't come from the who shot. And the conversation about that scene is still going today.
100%. 100%. And these are the thing, like I hate that Star Wars fandom in general. But it's also black and white, and it's also like this all sucks. This all the special editions suck. Special editions are great. There's a different things in both. I agree that Han should not have shot first. I think that George made a mistake there. It's okay. I don't hate him for it. I love the man. I love the man. I think he's one of the greatest things in the history of the world. I just don't agree with that.
Right. I know we're going long, but just give me like a bullet point of why you think that's a mistake.
I don't think changing it. I don't think it needs to be changed. I think that the original idea with Han, like, to make Han not a murderer or so, I don't think it needs to be happening, because Han was always kind of like a scoundrel on the other side of the wall. I don't think he's necessarily a murderer in case he's not going to like be a murderer in terms of he's not going to hunt down somebody. But in case like when he's faced up against a bounty hunter, he's not above killing them, is what I thought. And like, because it wasn't shot that way, it makes it look a little wonky. Like if you had decided that, like, if George White said back in the day, and he originally said, I want it to be a shootout, and I want Han, like Greedo to shoot first to make Han the hero, and that's the way it was worked out. Great. I don't mind that necessarily. It's the idea that you already shot it, and now you're like using CGI to like change it, and it makes it look wonky, and like it's not necessary. It's not a necessary change. I didn't love the change. That's all.
See, to me, it sets Han up as the Jesse James, fastest gun in the West.
Yeah.
Kind of a badass outlaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse James.
I like that. Yeah.
I do like that. No one can beat him on the draw.
Right. I get that too. I mean, I definitely get that too, but I just don't think it was a necessary change. That's all. I still go down to that, but what it is. I love some of their stuff they did. Honestly, I love the more stormtroopers. I love the scene when Han runs after the stormtroopers, and then now it's like where before it was just all I did was like the whole
that in comedy. That's great.
That's a great comic moment. I mean, sure, I get that some people don't like that because like all of a sudden the next thing is he's running away from like only that handful of stormtroopers. So the stormtroopers he ran into were like kind of like, huh? All right, I didn't decide to follow. He just got out there, but that's okay. You don't. It's like it's one of those kind of like you just forget it. Don't worry about it.
Hey kid, it's not that kind of movie.
Any other action bits we should talk about at all, or are we
no, I think we get to move on.
Okay. That means the last bit we got, because we're not doing extra of the week, then we summed up everything else we wanted to talk about. And I'm not doing a Force Vision for this one, to be honest with you. I think we're good. We're going to rate this son of a bitch.
You know what? I have a funny feeling, right? Here's my Force Vision. Darth Vader is Luke's father. Not only Luke's. Here's a crazy tinfoil hat theory.
Oh boy, here we go.
I think he's Leia's dad as well.
Dad too. I had the same thought. I don't know why. We're on the same wavelength. I love it. We'll find out. We'll find out soon.
You know what? Here's my last one, and this one is just out of control. I think that Darth Vader's gonna turn back to the light.
Redemption story. Wow, Star Wars has never done a redemption story before.
Yeah, I know. Let's get crazy. Let's try something new.
I love it. All right, we're gonna rank this movie on a scale of 1 to 11 because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects in honor of Spinal Tap. Go see the sequel when it comes out. On a scale of 1 to 11, this one, a damn perfect 11 for me. Can't do anything else than that. It's 11. It's the one star at all. It's perfect. Prioritize this. What do you think there, Matty?
I give it a 10.5.
Okay.
Solely because Empire to me is possibly the greatest movie. It's not my favorite movie. It's the greatest movie ever made. So this is like half a step. I'll give it 10.75.
I would, if I had to do it that way, I would give it a 10.99999999999. I do think Empire's better. 9. I do think Empire's better, but they're both 11s for me. So I love it. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. I hope you stuck. If you stuck with us, thank you. I appreciate your sticking through the nearly 2.5-hour episode. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully, you caught the beginning where we talked our changes that we got coming on. I'm going to be a bi-weekly show from now on. Sometimes I'll be doing a solo news show. Sometimes Maddie will be just doing a solo thematic show himself, and then I'll be on both as well. Who knows what's going on? But hit that notification bell, subscribe. You'll know when we come back with Holy Snokes. Might be a little more irregular than it used to be, but it will be here. And then, of course, when the shows come back, we will be doing the weekly shows weekly as normal, as we have been doing it. Matty, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on all socials at Matty Morna. You can find my band Morna on all streaming platforms, and you can find us starting on tour this July. First show, July 26th at the Castle Tap in Reading. Come watch, come out to a show. We really appreciate it. I've had a few people from various Discords and YouTube channels and stuff coming out and saying we're going to come watch. So if we're playing in your town, come see us.
Perfect. You can find me at Paul Denuzio on Blue Sky. I am back on Twitter a little bit here and there. Trying to do stuff, so you can find me there as well. I don't usually do a whole lot there. You can find me all over this podcast, obviously this channel, I should say. I already talked about it before. 2 Middle-Aged Geeks on Film review, class action, which is coming up on Monday. This Monday, live class action special. The Mission Impossible Battle Royale. That should be a lot of fun to do. And my Crown Jewels my sister YouTube channel, Crown Jewels, my Queen podcast is on that. I might be rebranding that soon, but I don't know. I might be rebranding that to more of a music with Queen as instead of a Queen page, more of a music with Queen as a main focus. Let's see. I got some ideas to do that, but I might have to rebrand everything. Who knows? I might be rebranding everything. It's all about brands. We'll find out. So stick with us and you can find out too. But like, subscribe. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/PLD Projects, or you can become a YouTube member here as well. Come further support. You get early access to a lot of videos, a lot of, especially to Middle-Aged Geeks on Film, where we're doing the MC rewatch specifically exclusive for members and patrons. And I think that'll do it. We will see you next time, probably in 2 weeks. And I don't know what we're going to do, which one we're going to do for it. Maybe Michael Clayton be the first one we do. So then we'll do a month between news. We'll do it in 2 weeks. We'll try to do Michael Clayton and go from there. Or we might switch it up. We'll see. You'll find out. You'll find out when we find out. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace.
May the force be with you. Always.